perfect French counting.
Yeah.
Fuck you up.
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
I have Let Me Be Your Wings from Thumbelina stuck in my head.
It's better than what I had stuck in my head yesterday.
What you had stuck in your head yesterday?
There's this country singer. He's an ex hardcore metal guy. His name is Tim Barry. He has this song about this guy. Like the refrain of it is 1 quick minute got me 28 long years. Mm-hmm. It's about him killing the guy that raped and beat his sister.
Whoa.
Damn.
That's hardcore.
Yeah.
That's some bastard out of North Carolina shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's another song by Harvey Danger called Sad Sweetheart of the Rodeo. So I had both of those songs combined, and it's just like 1 quick minute got me the Sad Sweetheart of the Rodeo. And they go together really fucking well.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
You know what I always thought would be a surprisingly good mashup?
What's that?
Where Is My Mind by the Pixies.
Yeah.
And Dearest by Billie Holiday.
That would work.
Or Billy
Idol?
No.
Billy West?
Wait.
Billy
Pilgrim?
Joe Armstrong?
Definitely not Billy Joe Armstrong.
Billy Pilgrim?
Damn it, this is going to bug me. I'm looking this up.
Billy-
Talk amongst yourselves. Because it'd go, Dearest, though you're the nearest.
Can't sing anymore.
You're right, I can't.
Yeah, if it's like more than 3 seconds into the song, please stop.
Yeah.
Somebody make a mashup between Dearest by Buddy Holly
Oh.
There we go.
and Where Is My Mind by the Pixies. Send it to me. My birthday is coming up, so...
Your birthday is coming
Please
up
and thank
several
you.
months
After the fact.
And it will be a
before
beautifully
this episode releases.
belated birthday present to
Yeah.
get that. So thank you very much, kind sir or ma'am.
Well,
I was really big into like a 16-bit or 32-bit reimaginings of songs. And the one for Where Is My Mind is fucking fantastic.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Where Is My Mind. It's definitely the most popular of the Pixies songs.
Yeah. You know why that is, right?
Because of Fight Club.
Because of Fight Club.
Yeah. But it's still a really good song.
It's a really good song for a really fucking good scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you guys.
What's
I don't really like the Pixies that much.
Fair
You know what?
enough.
That's fine.
Yeah. People are entitled to be wrong.
Well, I actually saw a documentary about the Pixies once, and I
Yeah.
was like, these fucking assholes.
Yeah, they're shitty.
Like, I can listen to a musician even if they're dicks. Not like, murderers, but like...
I don't know, man. I can't.
Depending on the murder.
Yeah. No, it's not even murder that I'm talking about.
Oh, if they're just like, they cut you off in line.
If I knew them personally, I probably wouldn't want to listen to them for that reasons. But I don't like Axl Rose, and I don't listen to Guns N' Roses because of how much I don't like Axl Rose.
There you go.
Yeah. I actually did kind of stop listening to Guns N' Roses after I found out how much of an asshole he was.
Yeah.
I stopped listening to a podcast called Sword and Scale, which I'm a huge true crime fan.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about that on the podcast before.
Maybe.
But I stopped listening to Sword and Scale because the host of that podcast is a huge dick. And he hasn't done anything, at least to my knowledge, hasn't done anything like super bad. He's just kind of a dick. And I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
But I feel like the disconnect for me, like I'll still like watch a movie an actor's in, even though he might be like mean to his fans or whatever.
Yeah.
Is because that actor is playing somebody, or that like I can disconnect the song, the narrator of the song, from the person who's singing it.
When it's a podcast or a radio show, you
Yeah.
kind of feel a more... There's actually a word for feeling a connection to someone. It's like a one-way interpersonal connection where you interact with that person without them and knowing that you interact with them.
Sleepless in Seattle.
It's that's the name of it. But it's like one of the reasons that old people watch the news all the time and stuff like that, because they get that familiar face every day.
Yeah.
Right. That kind of thing.
But with the podcast or the news, because they're playing themselves, even if they are playing a character on the podcast, you feel like you know them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which is so weird.
And that's also why Let's Players have gotten so big on YouTube.
Yeah.
Is because people get like a personal connection with the Let's Players, because a lot of times they'll talk about their own personal stuff
Yeah,
while they're playing a game.
I feel like I could meet one of my, like somebody who I listen to a podcast of and be really good friends with them.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a little creepy, but...
Yeah.
And maybe people listening to this can be really good friends with us.
We want more friends.
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing you guys every day.
Well, I don't want more friends. I have enough friends.
Oh, delete some of your old friends and get new ones, Travis.
All right, hang
There
on.
you
Let me access my database real quick.
Make some clickety-clicks on the tip of the tip.
All right, deleted 200 friends.
Yay!
There you go.
Wait, not us, right?
Oh, sorry.
Ah!
Who are you again?
What's happening? Where
am I?
Why are we here?
Ben just organically deletes people,
Yeah.
which is murder. And we've talked about this, and it's wrong.
That's way better than I was like. Oh yeah, heroin, but no.
Oh. I don't know. I hear they're putting a lot of GMOs in heroin these days. And it's like, if you can't get farm fresh organic heroin, like, what's the point?
Only
my
like
God.
locally sourced heroin,
You
which is
got
a bitch.
Ethically, locally sourced. Like, I don't want to hear you're taking advantage of, some 12-year-old in Somalia. Like,
Jesus.
in case you're wondering, like, who is the worst person, I think I just acted them out.
There you go.
I do that very often. It's fine. Some people might call it a personality. I call it having a good time.
Yeah. Ari does like to play a lot of really questionable characters.
I went up on stage once and I insulted somebody in the audience immediately, and I was like, oh yeah, playing a new character where I get to be myself.
Yeah. I remember that show. That
was a good show.
That was a good show.
That was a good set.
Yeah.
That was solid.
Playing a new character where I get to be me. Fuck off, cunts.
Yeah.
All right. So I bet you guys are wondering what I've been thinking about this week.
I have.
Yeah.
Have you?
No.
Aw.
I already know what you've been thinking about.
You're
this
right.
week.
We live together.
Yeah, for at least 12 hours a day, y'all are like, what, 6 feet away from each other at all times?
Less than that now that both of us have like
Jobs.
long jobs.
There you
Yeah.
Ari works like 10-hour
9
shifts.
hours,
so
yeah.
9-10-hour shifts, so she's gone a lot more.
God damn.
I miss my cats.
Yeah. They miss you too.
I know. They're such cutes. Look at how cute they
Look at
are.
that. They're being cute right there.
Ugh, I wish
Right
you
in
guys
front
could
of us, they're
see
being
this.
cute. Right in front of my salad.
Right in front of my salad.
But what have you been thinking about?
I have been thinking about gay anime.
Some ganime.
You've been
Or
thinking,
as I like to call it, ganime.
you have been thinking about that for a while.
I have been several months, but I've been wanting to talk about it on the podcast, and we haven't been able to.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought you were working on Yaoi on Ice.
Yes. I have gotten done with the Yaoi on Ice,
Yeah.
or as some might call it, Yuri on Ice. But I wanted to talk about gay anime because, again, slowly trying to turn Habcast into an anime podcast.
Of course.
What would we call our anime podcast?
Ganime cast.
Ganime cast?
Gancast.
We do exclusively gay anime.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that because
No.
I actually don't like a lot of yaoi and yuri, which for those of you who don't know, aka Ben.
That's why I make the jokes, because I know what it is.
Yeah, yaoi and yuri are specific genres in Japan that are like about gay men and gay women, but are targeted at straight women and straight men respectively.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of weird because there's a lot of content, unlike in the United States where it's like you have a gay character, like a queer character every once in a while. They're usually a slide player unless it's like side player unless it's a very niche thing.
Yeah.
And even then it might focus on like a straight character or something. Unlike that, there is actually a lot of queer content with queer main characters in Japan. And most of it is not very good.
Nah.
Like, have you experienced this, Travis? I know
I
you've
have.
watched some or read some Yuri on Ice
Yeah.
with me.
Uh-huh.
You watched that with me.
I watched that with you. But I have seen like I've read some yaois and some yuris.
Yeah.
I've read my yaois and yuris. That searms like I've taken like medicine and it's been the worst experience possible. It's
You're
like
taking it up the ass.
Yeah.
You down out of your Yuris and crossed your Yaois.
Yeah. That's what it was.
I think it's just like, because I want to get to Yuri on Ice. Because I've been wanting to talk about that on the podcast for a long time, since we watched it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But we've just been We've had other stuff to do.
Yeah.
We've been busy.
We have.
We had a guest last week.
Yep.
Before that, we were not watched Yaoi on Ice.
Yeah. But get on with it.
But like most of like the reason, because I have friends who like it, but the reasons why I don't is because a lot of it's very like exploitative.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very much clearly like we wrote this for the straight women and straight men in the audience, so
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like tantalizing to them.
Mm-hmm.
So the characters aren't really like real people.
They're fictionally gay.
They're fictionally gay, and they also fit like fictionally gay stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
And then also another reason why I don't like it is that a lot of yaoi and yuri have like sexual assault in them.
Yeah.
Which
That
is weird.
It's a weird thing.
And the thing is that it would be fine. Well, first of all, it would be fine if like the work didn't like if the work was like this is a bad thing. But then those people end up together.
Yeah.
Like the victim ends up with the person who sexually assaulted them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big thing with certain. I don't want to generalize anybody, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
But that Stockholm Syndrome is a good character arc, and it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like
No,
the
yeah.
biggest one I think about is Joker and Harley Quinn, and it's just like sure, it adds complexity and shit like that.
Yeah.
But there's more tricks than that you can pull.
But yeah, in the
Yeah.
context of these, it's not even like a Stockholm Syndrome thing. It's like one person forces another person to have sex with them, and now they're together.
Yeah. Because at least with Joker and Harley Quinn, because I agree,
Yeah.
but that's the fans doing that.
Yeah.
In the
you're not-
comic,
yeah.
Harley like punches Joker in the face and
Yeah.
is like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And even in her original run, she was introduced in Batman the Animated Series, and there's an episode called Mad Love,
Yeah.
which is about Joker and Harley's abusive relationship.
Yeah.
So even though, look, DC is a complicated company, and even though there have definitely been instances where DC has not treated their characters well,
Yeah.
it at least from the start has been clear that the relationship between Harley and Joker is a toxic one.
Yeah.
Sometimes in Yaoi and Yuri, like I was reading, like I watched Yuri on Ice, and that gave me such goodwill that I started reading another Yuri. And in the first fucking chapter, this girl is sexually assaulted by another girl, and then they end up together. And the work is not like that's bad or their relationship is toxic. It's like,
That's
yeah,
enough.
she needed help realizing she was gay,
Yeah.
which is super like.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And that's not every Yaoi and Yuri.
That's too grapey for me, man.
Indeed.
Yeah, you know, that's a pretty general idea, but I mean, like, it's such a general idea that you will, if you pick up a yaoi or a yuri,
Yeah, there's a good
piece of literature, it will literature.
It'll have,
It
have some
will.
great
Literature.
There's a good chance that it will be like that, and if
Yeah.
it's not like that, congratulations, you've got a good one.
Even in like, I would understand. Yeah, you've nailed it. You brought your hand up to the tree of knowledge, and you plucked down a ripe and juicy fruit, my friend. Normally you don't get that. Normally you get something with a worm in the middle.
Yeah.
You don't want that worm to be there.
Sometimes that worm is just forcing another worm to have sex.
And it's very uncomfortable.
And then they grow gigantic hands, and it's really weird.
Yes, I do like the Yaoi Hands trope where there are the two roles in Yaoi, the seme and the yuk.
Ook, I'm not sure.
Which is like the seme is like it's the like who's the man and who's the woman of the relationship question.
Kind of, yeah.
Where the seme is like the man.
It's who's wearing the pants and who gets fucked in the ass.
Yeah, who's aggressive and who isn't. And the seme is always the aggressive one. Usually they're like taller and less feminine. And they have giant hands.
And usually accompanying their giant hands, they have a very pointy chin.
Very pointy.
Like, if you just Google, like, I'll Google Yaoi Hands
yeah, we'll
right
put up
now.
in the show notes, like, examples of Yaoi hands. Because it's ridiculous. I have seen Yaoi where, like, the hands encompass the entire body of the other partner.
Whoa.
Which is too large a hand. Like, get some help.
So
Get a hand reduction.
I typed in yaoi, and the first result for the autofill was I typed in WAO, and it didn't even finish with the I. Yaoi Hands was first, and just plain yaoi was second.
Yes.
Damn.
That's how much of a meme it is. It got memed.
Like, here you go, Ben. Look at these yaoi hands. Have a look at those.
Yowza.
Yeah.
There's unfortunately Yuri doesn't get quite as memed.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I know, right?
He looks like, have you ever, like, I know we've talked about him before, the rake? That's what some of these motherfuckers look like.
Look.
Or salad fingers.
I don't know if hand cancer is a thing.
That guy's got like a third knuckle. Or like a fourth.
And even
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you normally have 3 knuckles, but even if
Please hold me.
hand cancer exists and it doesn't cause hands to grow abnormally large,
Hold the
I don't know. I feel like they need to get their hands checked out.
Please hold me in your giant yaoi hands.
Yeah.
This is a baseball tee t-shirt.
Oh my god, I want it.
Oh, yeah. And that's
I've
the other
actually
thing,
seen
though.
I know who designed that. There's an artist on Tumblr. I will look up her name later and also put it in the show notes because she's actually an excellent artist. And I really want, she has an enamel pen with that. And I really
nice.
want to get matching enamel pens for me and you, Travis.
See,
I see a lot of people at like anime conventions and stuff. There is usually a homosexual couple that have matching shirts. One says ook, one says seme. And I'm just like...
Because the whole ook seme thing, and okay, I feel like we need to put a disclaimer on, which is we're Westerners talking about a culture that is not our own. And in fact, outside of anime, a culture that we are not very familiar with.
Yeah.
But in a Western context, this idea that like queer people always have a woman and a man of their relationship, even if it's 2 men or 2 women, that's a very like, it's gross.
Yeah, well, I don't
like it.
I always thought of the ook and seme thing as Ben's having a good time over there with the yaoi.
I gotta
hands.
show you some
Yeah.
stuff, man.
Yeah.
There's a great one. I don't know a whole bunch about Japanese culture, but I do know that senpai is like a term of like somebody that you respect. That like
An older student.
Right. And then chan is usually like more of like a cuter thing, right?
It's like what you would call like a young girl or like a girl who's your friend.
There's this dude bent over in like the doggy style position. It says, "I love you, senpai-chan."
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, I don't
Okay.
know a lot, and I'm not a doctor, but that's not how you speak in Japanese.
I feel like that's just bad translation.
No, it's like, no, there you go. It's like a poorly drawn dude.
Oh, is it like it's a
okay,
parody?
it's like a joke thing.
It's kind of like
Wait,
a
let me
parody
see.
thing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And,
But,
and then there's also one of
I thought you were
Cuphead.
talking about there's this guy in the middle who's got his giant hand covering the top of his head
Yeah.
and half of his face. And I thought you were talking about that.
Here's a great one of Cuphead that says, it's in like the left middle. It says, "Are these yaoi
Oh, yeah.
hands?"
But the way I've always understood ook and seme is like the seme is the more like aggressive. Usually
Yeah,
the
the
person,
pitcher.
Yeah, usually the person that is more active in the relationship and is more of the like chaser,
Yes.
if you will.
Yeah.
And then the ook is just the person who is there to be chased.
Yeah, to receive.
Yeah, to receive.
Which
the receiver.
Which is like there are in like gay
keeper, if you
male
will.
culture, which again is not a culture that I'm a part of, but there are like tops and bottoms, and there are people who
That's
always
how-
tops
yeah.
and people who are always bottoms. But just because you're a top or a bottom, it doesn't mean like you have the personality traits of like a more feminine personality trait or more masculine personality trait, which I think is where the problem comes in for me.
This needs to be in the show notes.
Wow.
We're going to put it in the show notes. Wait, that
No.
picture
This-
specifically?
this picture specifically.
This is incredible.
That is amazing. And read the bottom too. It's hilarious.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so it's a Tumblr post from Vexix929, which thank you for putting this in my life. And we'll put this in the show notes. I'm going to describe it now. Someone please draw a character with yaoi hands, yuri arms, which are like super long and noodly.
Yeah.
Bishy face, shoujo legs, and shonen boobies in a classic 80s anime style. It would be the ultimate manga disaster, and I need it in my life. And then somebody did it, and it is horrifying.
It's a monstrosity.
Yeah.
And then the comment underneath it is
monstrosities.
Kagome from Inuyasha looks great.
Yeah.
Which might be my favorite part.
It's amazing.
Yeah. That is... Oh, that's going to keep me up tonight.
Yep.
Which is good because I work a third shift job and sometimes I need a little help staying awake. So thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Tumblr user. I almost said Tumblr loser.
I was
Well, you
Oh,
wouldn't be
Freudian
wrong.
slip.
Oh.
I was like, I gotta do one more scroll, and then I'm gonna put it down, and then I saw that, and I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
You are so fucking welcome.
I saw a picture of this, like, my friend on Facebook posted a picture of this, like, goth guy leaning against a grave, and his legs are so long. And on the comment underneath, it was like, thanks, anime goth guy. Because he looks like an anime character with super long legs.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were we talking about? Yaoi and Yuri.
And then
I have a quick question before we
Yes.
continue down this rabbit hole of... What time do you have to be at work?
11 p.m.
11 p.m.
We have plenty of time.
Okay, cool. Oh, it's 6. I thought it was 8.
No,
Fuck it.
yeah, it's
Okay,
only
cool.
6:17. Calm
Yeah.
down, y'all.
I don't know what it is. I keep feeling like it's like 8 o'clock, and then I look, it's only 6. Like, okay, fuck.
Yeah, well, you get more time.
yeah.
You have too much time on your hands.
Yeah, my...
Is that not how the song goes?
Ari, do you smell toast? Are you feeling okay?
You know, I am a little tired.
No, I don't think that's a stroke. I think you got meningitis or something.
Meningitis.
You got a weird parasite like in your spinal cord that makes you have like limb twitches.
I'm a robot that's malfunctioning.
Hey, that's
Also,
racist.
petition to start calling robots robots.
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 I already call coupons coupons
Coupons.
and tattoos.
Oh, well, now you're a crazy person.
And Lady Gaga.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be pronounced.
I feel like this should be a sketch.
But
Things Ari says.
so we were talking about Yaoi and Yuri, and you're eventually going to get to Yuri on Ice somehow.
Yes. Here's my connection. So when I was a kid and I was this baby anime fan / also baby gay, right? And all I wanted in my life was like queer people.
Yeah.
And also people who I could relate to, right? Which I'm not going to be like, I'm not like other girls because I'm not, but I didn't feel myself represented in women in media.
Right.
I think
Right.
the phrase "I'm not like other girls" is just like, "Oh, I'm not your stereotypical girl." That's all it means.
Well, people will give that as a compliment to be like,
You're
you
like,
don't act
"Oh,
like my preconceived notion of what a woman should be, and I like
Exactly.
that because
Yeah.
I hate women.
Right. But there's this bad connotation of women saying, "Oh, I'm not like other girls."
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's
When will my reflection? Okay, sorry.
those were the exact words I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I am like other girls, but I don't feel myself represented in the media as like who I am as a
Right.
person.
Right.
So in anime, you can actually get, even though anime does rely on a lot of like anime cliches, you can get a wide range of characters.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of nice. And so I would read Yaoi and Yuri, and on the one hand, I'd be like, this is gross, and I feel bad for reading it.
Yeah.
But also, here are these queer characters. And then sometimes I'd read Yuri, and I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of weird Yuri out there.
There's a lot of weird shit.
Side note, boat. I am watching a show called Yuri Kama Arashi,
Yeah.
which translates to Lily Bear Storm or
Yeah.
Lesbian Bear Storm.
That's the one with the bears.
And it is about
Bears.
Ben. Hold on to something.
Yeah. Get ready.
It is about in the future.
In the future.
Bears have developed a taste for human flesh and can also transform into cute girls.
It is an anime.
It is an anime. So the humans
This
have...
this feels like that Bible verse about the guy that just
Oh, yeah, the bald guy who,
Yeah, the bald-
like, gets called bald, and then he sends
he
bears
sends
to kill
bears-
children.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Samson,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
No.
No.
No, it's Moses. I'm kidding.
No, it's Samson because his hair gets cut. And then, I don't know, we'll ask Dual Aldridge later.
Dual Aldridge, foremost biblical scholar
Yeah.
that we know
No,
of.
wouldn't it be more fitting if
It's
like
not Samson, though.
No. It's not?
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's not. Samson has, like, one story.
Yeah, it's like a one-off. Like a
Yeah, I think it's like a prophet.
He's a one-off Bible character.
Yeah.
yeah. Like
He's like Ruth, you know?
okay.
Like nobody thinks about Ruth.
Yeah, that's true.
Fuck Ruth, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding. She's
She was a
super
bitch.
gay, so.
Oh, was she?
I mean, no, but like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah.
Her and Naomi got into some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what?
You gotta read between the lines.
You know what they say about Naomi?
Look, Naomi Malone from Showgirls.
Wow.
All right, back to my original point, which had veered off into a side point that I am going through now. Yuri Arashi, bears have developed a taste for human flesh. So humans have like built their cities inside these walls so the bears can't get in. Except sometimes bears will sneak in and eat humans.
Do they call them Yaoi Guais?
It's a different genre, Ben. It's like a new thing now. We're not talking about that anymore.
That was
So the Yuri Guais?
Yes, thank you.
that was a Fallout reference.
I got there.
Yeah.
So, it's about these two, and also it's set at a high school because it is an anime about teenagers.
Yeah.
So it's set at a high school, and there's this thing called the Invisible Storm, which is the student council that will vote like you off the island metaphorically, which makes you more susceptible to being eaten by bears.
I don't know if this story is getting better or worse.
So it's about this girl who enters a relationship in the first episode, then her girlfriend is eaten by a bear, so she's sworn revenge on all bears, except, literally everybody is a goddamn bear and wants to eat her. Like, everybody is a bear. It's crazy. Also, spoilers for Yuri Arashi.
Yeah. All right.
And lesbians. I don't know what to tell you. It's a crazy show.
This is like Invasion of the Booby Snatchers instead of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
It's like so like on the one hand, for like gay anime, you have Yuri Arashi, which is Kunihiko Ikuhara work, so it's fucking nuts. And then on the other hand, for gay anime, you have Blue Spring Ride. Nope, that's not gay. That's heterosexual. You have this like Blue Flower show. I can't remember what it's called. That is, good but boring as tar. And it's like, I just want something in the middle. I want something that features a non-toxic relationship between two people who are people. And hey, maybe if it could involve the only sport I actually like, that would be cool too.
What sport is that?
Figure skating.
Oh, yeah.
And that brings us to Yuri on Ice.
That's how we get to Yuri on Ice.
Yes.
Okay. So Yuri on Ice does a lot of cool stuff.
Lots of cool stuff. It's about a figure skater named Yuri Katsuki who has totally bombed at this like big figure skating event. Mm-hmm. And in front of his idol, who doesn't even know he exists.
Yes.
And his idol is named Victor Nikiforov.
Victor Nikiforov.
And so he goes home totally in disgrace, is thinking about retiring, except then his idol, Victor, shows up and is like, I'm super naked right now and going to train you.
Yeah.
And you're going to win gold at the next Grand Prix.
Coach.
Yeah. And that starts this series.
Yeah.
And it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. It really, I feel like it subverted a lot of those things that we talked about, especially in like anime in general.
Yes.
It's not set in a high school.
It's not set in a high school.
Very few high school age kids, and it's not even set in high school.
I know, right?
It's the only like younger kids we see are. I think the youngest kid we see is 15, is Yuri Plasetsky.
Yes, the other Yuri, the Russian Yuri.
Yeah.
So it's a sports anime, but it doesn't have a lot of the trappings of a sports anime. Like for example, a lot of sports anime are about like people who are new to the sport.
I feel like it's a sports anime that hits a lot of romance beats.
Yes. It's very clear that the showrunner loved figure skating first and wanted to write a story about figure skating.
And that it's animated beautifully because they rotoscoped figure skaters to animate these amazing figure skating
Sometimes
programs.
it's a little shaky towards the end.
Well,
But most of it's fucking gorgeous.
I bet
the characters are really interesting.
There's probably already a DVD release or something.
True.
But I bet whatever is on the DVD release is probably a lot more cleaned up than what the original broadcast was.
I would agree.
Which is generally what happens.
Yep. Especially because anime are made on a crazy tight schedule.
Yeah.
Like, you have Like, how much does it? How long does it get to get an episode of like Steven Universe out?
9 to 10 months.
9 to 10 months. So Steven Universe episode lengths are 10 to 11 minutes.
Yeah.
They have 6 months to get out episodes of 30-minute episodes.
Yeah.
Of most anime.
It's fucking wild.
It's crazy. Like, yeah, it's insane. So it's a refreshing show because it doesn't have a lot of those old anime tropes that we see. It's not set in high school. The main character is actually already good at the sport. Like, he's number 6 in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't have that, like, guy learning to love the sport.
It still has that underdog kind of story.
It does.
But that's because he put himself in that position.
Yeah, because it deals with, like, feelings of, like, anxiety and depression from both of the main characters.
Yeah.
Yuri and Victor. Not really Yuri Plesetsky, but he's
kind of a side character.
He's kind of a side character. But so it deals with that, and so, like, really the villain of the series is Yuri himself.
Yeah.
He gets in his own way. He overthinks things, he freaks out. And it's just really nice to it's refreshing. Watching Yuri on Ice feels refreshing.
It does.
Oh, and also they commit to the fucking gay.
They do.
Which is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we talked about, getting back to what I was actually going to say.
Yeah.
We talked about Yaoi and Yuri, but we didn't talk about another very type of popular yet kind of queer anime, which is I bet the fangirls will like if we put a lot of queer baiting in it.
Yeah.
Like, we don't actually commit to anything.
It's just a bunch of teasing.
One of my favorite shows.
Same with Yuri. They do that with Yuri too.
Yeah, one of my favorite shows, Beyond the Boundary, falls into that a little bit. It gets a little queer baity with one of the characters who I think is supposed to be, like, not gay, but he's either bi or pansexual because he's, like, down for whatever.
Yeah.
But he does kind of queer bait the main male character a lot, even though the two mains kind of have their own romantic thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I would
but
say,
he kind of queers them up.
It is not queer baiting if a character is gay and in love with a character of the same sex, and that character just doesn't reciprocate.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you do have queer representation, and that happens in real life. Mm-hmm. What is queer baiting, and it feels very appropriate that we're talking about this now, on this, a supernatural podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This is a supernatural podcast.
Yeah.
I almost forgot.
Let's go ahead and define queer baiting now.
We talked about anime for so long. I almost forgot what this show is about.
I did, there's this movie that, like, the talk of what we were talking, or what y'all are talking about, and I'm listening to. Because I find it very interesting. Like, I know I don't say a whole lot sometimes, but I just find it interesting just to watch y'all talk about things that you get excited about.
Yeah.
Because I have no interest, like,
that's how I feel when you and Travis talk about video games.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have an interest. I mean, I'm kind of branching out now, but I'm not really super into most video games.
Right.
But I like seeing people who are passionate about things talk about the things they like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. There's this old movie I haven't seen. Like, it came out in 2002. It's called The Slaughter Rule. The top billed cast is Ryan Gosling, David Morse, and Amy Adams.
Ooh.
It's a fantastic movie. Essentially, it's about, like, Ryan Gosling plays this high school quarterback who gets cut from the team days after his father dies.
Wow.
Yikes.
And
Bad
so
timing.
he finds, like, solace. Like, he meets this man named Gideon, played by David Morse, who's a loner living on the roughneck fringe who is looking for gamers, kids who scrap hard to play on his 6-man Iron Man football squad. Like, Iron Man means you play both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Like, the whole fucking 60 minutes.
Damn.
And there's a rule, like, if you're over, like, 40 or so, you win, no matter how much time's left. The slaughter rule. But the crux of
Slaughterhouse rules.
the crux of the movie, of the story, really, is that Gideon is gay. Because he used to be a coach, and he used to do very well for himself. But it got out that he was gay.
And so he got fired.
And so he got fired. It's a really good movie. It's a really sweet and deep movie.
Nice.
I'm down
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting, especially since, while I don't watch football, I do like football movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Remember the Titans is fantastic.
Remember the Titans is probably Top 3 on my list.
I like Whole Nine or The Longest Yard too.
The
OG one.
The new one is still pretty good. It's not,
pretty okay, but
Yeah.
I will rewatch the original one.
Oh yeah.
Is Rudy technically a football movie?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Rudy's good.
Have you ever seen the parody of Rudy? That there's this old, like, not old show, but it's not on the air anymore. Blue Mountain State.
Oh
did.
yeah.
Oh, it's fucking fantastic.
I remember Blue Mountain State.
They did a parody of Rudy in like 30 minutes, and it's fucking
That's
great.
awesome.
I
I also know that there's a parody of Ruby in Not Another Teen Movie.
Yeah.
And they he catches the ball and then they fucking tackle 2 people tackle him in different directions. He gets ripped in half.
Yeah, imagine if Don Knotts was tackled by like Andre the Giant and probably J.J. Watt at the same time.
Yeah, going from different directions.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, we're tangenting on a tangent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Of
like
all
to do
of
that.
the like parody movies that have ever come out, with the exception of like Airplane,
Yeah.
Not Another Teen Movie is my favorite.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I reference it all the time. I like it more than the movie it's parroting. She's All That.
Yeah.
It parodies She's All That, Not Another Teen, or
Never Been Kissed.
10
Cruel
Things I Hate About-
Intentions. 10 Things I Hate About You.
Varsity Blues.
Oh,
Another fantastic football movie.
the cheerleader movie.
Bring It On.
Bring It On.
Bring It On Again.
Yeah.
Basically,
hilariously, it should bring it parodies Bring It On because it has the black cheerleader squad go up to the white cheerleader squad and be like, "You're totally stealing our routines," and the white cheerleader squad is like, "No, we're not." And then the cheer is pretty much like, "We're black. We're super black. Go black people!" Like that's the cheer. Black Lives Matter. Like that's the cheer, and it's hilarious.
I love young Chris Evans, like pre-Human Torch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, Chris Evans is in that movie.
Yeah.
When he walks on, is like, "Give Jamie a snack," and he is wearing whipped cream,
Yeah.
and then he stuck a banana to his butt.
No, it's not a banana.
Oh,
it's
not
a
a banana.
it's a long yellow balloon.
Oh,
Just
yes.
shoved between his cheeks.
Stuff between his ass cheeks. It's
Oh,
hilarious.
man. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie.
Do you remember this scene with the vibrator?
Yes. Oh my God. Let's
Is that
watch
the scene-
another teen movie instead of the Supernatural episode today, guys.
Is that the scene where it's like the girl in her bed and then her whole family
Yeah.
comes in because it's her birthday?
And they're like, "What's that sound?" And she's like, "I don't know." And then the dog hops on the bed, and the fucking vibrator, like the
like
dog.
flies up
Yeah.
into the air and then lands in the cake.
Yes, exactly.
I
And the
love
grandmother's like, "What is that?"
I love the parody of Never Been Kissed because the reporter who comes in to investigate is like in her 60s.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a 6-year-old woman trying to be a teenager.
All
Yeah.
I want is to find love and for somebody to take a dump on my chest. So good. All right, so getting off our tangents, so let's just scoot away.
There are 2 T's in Hey Assbutt.
There are, and they both stand for tangent. Let's get off the tangent train. But yeah, so queer baiting is, I don't care, like, okay, like, if a character is gay and they're just like, "Oh, I'm in love with this person," but they don't reciprocate because they're straight or because they just don't love me back, like,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's a human thing, right? Unrequited love sucks. It happens.
Yeah.
What to me is queer baiting is when they won't even mention the possibility of the characters being queer,
Ah, okay.
right? Or like where they keep hinting, but nobody's
really sure.
really sure. Like the characters, to me the question is, if we lived in a world where homosexuality was the norm and totally unstigmatized, would these characters be in a relationship? And if the answer is yes, but they're not, that's queer baiting to me.
Okay.
With the exception of Star Trek TOS. Because I legitimately didn't think they were thinking about it. And we do have to account for cultural differences here because there
Yeah,
are
that's
some
true.
culturals. There are some cultures where it is more acceptable for men to be affectionate or women. Well, it's pretty much acceptable in the West for women to be super affectionate with each other.
Right.
But like there are, it is sometimes it's like I'm thinking of Free right now, which is a sports anime about a swim team.
Yeah. A gay swim
A
team.
gay swim team. but like nobody, like I haven't seen Free.
Yeah.
But like nobody commits. Nobody's like, oh, by the way, I'm super bisexual.
Yeah.
Like, just none of that.
It's all very, like, played off or not mentioned, or it's, like, implied, but it's never said.
It's meant to titillate the audience. It is not written in because the characters. It's not for the characters, it's for the audience.
Right. And with Yuri on Ice, it's for the characters.
Yeah.
Like these two people fall in love.
Yeah. On screen, we see it with our eyeballs.
Yeah, we see it happen.
And so that's why Yuri on Ice, again, why Yuri on Ice is so refreshing, because it doesn't have those like toxic yaoi tropes, but it also doesn't do the, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Are these characters going to smooch?
Yeah, but we're both girls.
Yeah.
You know.
Guess what? They do.
Yeah.
I also heard there was actually an anime that wasn't a Yuri that came out that year where two women smooch.
Oh.
And I want to watch that.
We'll have to find it.
Oh, we will.
And then another...
I can smell a woman kissing from a mile away.
Another funny
woman,
thing I liked in Yuri on Ice was, this is a huge anime trope, is when, like, for the example being in Yuri on Ice, female sees an attractive male do something that they're good at or something that is attractive, blood shoots out of their nose.
Yes. Oh,
because
this is hilarious.
Apparently, it's like a legitimate, like, genetic thing. Like, Japanese people, like, genetically tend to have high blood pressure, which is like a big medical problem in Japan, which is why they get the bloody nose. That's where the bloody nose things comes from.
I heard it was from an old wives' tale that say that perverts have more, like, blood in their face.
That could be true as well,
Yeah.
but the high blood pressure thing is also a thing.
Like we said, we are not Japanese.
Like I've seen a lot of really funny Japanese high blood pressure medicine commercials.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're great. But so it's Yuri and like his childhood friend, who I can't remember the name of. Yuko, who is they grew up skating together and stuff, and Yuko is watching Victor skate, and while the other two Yuris are like off on the side, and Victor does something sexy and blood shoots out of Yuko's face because she's like, oh, that's the sexiest thing ever. And then the other Yuri Russian Yuri, is like, oh my God, do you need help? Which is like the first time I've ever seen that happen. Yes. Because usually it's such a trope that it's just played off. It's like, oh, that's for comedy.
Yeah.
When in the background,
like the character, it's non-diegetic.
Yeah.
The character isn't literally bleeding from the nose.
Uh-huh.
But in Yuri on Ice, it's like, get an ambulance.
Yeah.
She is dying.
And I love that too, because Yuri Plisetsky and Victor are from Russia,
yes,
which has that cultural difference. So maybe
they're just like, what the fuck is going on?
In this version of Japan, people just shoot blood out of their noses when they see something sexy, and it's fine. But Yuri doesn't know that.
Also, if you watch the dub, which we did, Yuri has a ridiculous and totally accurate Russian accent.
Yeah,
and. How do I know it's accurate? Because I can copy it perfectly.
Oh my God.
And I have learned this is what Russian people sound like to Americans. Okay.
Wow.
It's a squirrel.
It's a moose and squirrel. All right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, I feel like we're just super racist against Russians right now.
No, I made you say that for a reason.
But you know what? Their country is our country, so like fuck it, you know what I mean?
I know, right?
They elected our president.
They did, so.
Oh, we should probably cut that.
We're about to. Somebody knocks on the door and they're like, "Hello, I've heard you making some accusations."
Yeah. Oh shit. The NSA just heard us say that through Alexa.
This isn't on the internet. Through Alexa.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've said her name. She's gonna.
Now she's really listening because you said her name.
Yeah.
The light is on.
We're gonna have to come up with a code name for her.
Alexa, stop.
How about we call her Alex?
We actually can change the wake word for her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I can make it whatever word. I can change it to Hey Siri.
Change it to butt.
But no.
Hey butt.
No, change it to.
Change it to Assbutt.
Hey, yeah. So every time I want to talk to my fucking Amazon Echo, I have to say fucking Hey Assbutt.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes, do it.
What?
Do it.
Why not? Isn't that the most perfect name for a podcast ever?
I love it. I think it's really funny when people don't get it, and then we have to explain it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's actually not very funny.
I was explaining the show to my parents the other day because I share it on Facebook, and my mom finally saw it, and she was like, I saw an episode of that show that your podcast is about, and it's really weird. I was like, yeah, I know. And my dad was like, what's your show called? I said, Hey Assbutt. And he's like, what is that supposed to mean? I was like, it's a joke from the show.
And you were like, I don't get it yet.
Okay. He was like, I don't get it yet, but you know.
Please.
Yeah, we railroaded you into calling it this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we forced it.
Yeah, you really did.
Yeah, we did.
We had a list of like other name ideas, I think. Hey Assbutt was the only one that was stuck, really.
Yeah, that was the only good one.
I don't even remember what those other... I didn't even remember having a list.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why Hey Assbutt stuck.
It's like, Hey Assbutt at the top. I don't know. Maybe we were considering like...
Spooky Ghost Guys.
Spooky Ghost Guys. Too spooky. Two ghosts.
Yeah.
Two brothers.
I have it in a notebook somewhere. I'll
Hey
find
Assbutt.
it.
Spook 7.
Spook 7. Hey Assbutt. Too spooky. Two ghosts.
Spook and Spurious.
Spook. Vancouver Drift.
I'm gonna throw the fuck up.
What was the fourth one called? I think it was just Fast and Furious.
The Road So Far.
The Road So Far.
The road's so spooky.
The Road So Spooky.
Yep.
The fifth one was
Fast 5.
Fast 5. So
Yeah.
Spooky 5. Soup 5.
Soup 5.
And then 6 was...
Fast and Furious 6.
Yeah, it was.
No, I think 6 was...
Was it The Fast and The Furious? No, that was a different one.
Don't remember. 7 was Furious 7.
Yeah. And
8 was
is
The Fate of the Furious.
See, this is why
The Fate of the Furious.
the Fast and Furious franchise has the most
Stupid.
like they really haven't committed to any themes for their naming.
Okay.
Because you can't, except for the ones that literally have numbers in them, who knows where they go.
Here's the thing. I won't let you guys insult the Fast and the Furious on a podcast that I am on anymore.
Why?
Because
We
that
insult
movie series
Supernatural all the time.
Hold on.
Okay.
Unlike Supernatural, the Fast and the Furious series is perfect.
Okay.
So,
Bullshit.
All right.
So, I will not hear any slander against this, my child.
If you want to become the new co-host of Hey Assbutt, email us.
I'm firing both of you. Well, I got to keep Travis on for editing. Sorry, Ben, you're out.
No, here's the thing. I will say this much. If you want to say that the Fast and the Furious franchise is as good as Supernatural, that's fine. Because that's equal. Because that's not a very high bar.
No, it is not. No offense, Supernatural. Just kidding. Full offense.
But, like, they didn't... My biggest problem with the Fast and Furious franchise is there are some good movies. There are some really questionable action sequences that are just like...
I have a question.
What's that?
Does Supernatural in the later seasons ever drop a car out of a plane?
No.
Then, not as good.
Yeah, all right, but how many characters in Fast and Furious come back to life several times?
I feel like that's actually a point in its favor. Because really only one. And she wasn't really dead. She got amnesia. So.
I think you're getting Fast and the Furious confused with Resident Evil because it's the
Well,
same
Paul
actor.
Walker died. He didn't come back to life.
That's the actor who died.
Oh, right.
No, we're talking about
That's
Michelle
not the character.
We're talking about Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, we're talking about Michelle
I
Rodriguez.
thought-
Are you whitewashing death?
I thought Paul Walker died in the movie, too. That's how they got him to not be in the
They
movie.
actually had a body double. His brother was the body double for the Fate of the Furious.
Yeah, I knew that. Oh, wait, the Fate of the Furious?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
He died at the end of Furious 7.
Oh.
This is why the Fast and the Furious is not. It's just the
they
names.
actually had a beautiful tribute to him at the end of at the end of Furious 7.
They like get him out of the life or something.
When they're like a whole song.
Yeah, that was done by Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth.
Yeah.
Which again is ludicrous. Wink, 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 wink,
Oh
wink.
my God.
Okay, sorry, I'll stop.
I'm gonna throw ice at you.
Really? You're gonna throw ice at me? Ben, the pun thief? Ben?
Pun thief.
I didn't want to say pun master because that would
Wait,
be giving
how
you
long
way too much
ago?
credit.
How long ago did Furious 7 come out?
What was the last one?
Fate of the Furious.
How long ago did that come out?
Fate of the Furious came out last year.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Isn't there another one? Is there another one?
Oh yeah, they're gonna make like 10 more.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Which will put it about not even close to the length of Supernatural.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I could get done the Fate of the Furious franchise done in like a weekend.
Yeah, probably. Well, no, there's 8 of those movies. Well, no, I mean, you can do all of Harry Potter in 2 days, so.
Yeah.
And the Fast and Furious movies aren't that long.
Yeah.
They're like, what, hour and a half, 2 hours?
About, yeah.
They're probably all right at 90 minutes.
I would hope so.
Well, guys.
This has been an interesting first half.
Let me TLDR this real quick.
Okay.
Yuri and Yaoi played an important part of my childhood. Still kind of questionable to me now that I'm older and wiser.
Yep.
Yuri on Ice is fantastic, and you guys should go watch it. The Fast and the Furious is also great. We have a special place in our heart for Supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you two do.
Yeah. Well, like, because we're nostalgic for most of it.
Supernatural?
Yeah. I think that's what it really is.
Sometimes when we're doing this rewatch, I do wonder, like...
How rosy are those rose-colored
Yeah,
glasses?
I do wonder, like, if I had to watch Supernatural today and I had never seen it.
I would not watch it.
You would not? Really? You wouldn't? You know that for sure?
I would probably, like, if it was on, I'd probably be okay with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would seek it out because there is so much of it.
Well, that's how I have felt.
Yeah.
I still think I wouldn't do past season 5. Like, I would probably watch it to season 5 because I do love urban fantasy type stuff, but I don't think I would continue it past that.
Kind of like how people don't watch season 9 of Scrubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be like, okay, I'm done with this.
I'm only talking about the episodes we have watched so far.
Oh, really? You wouldn't even get to those?
I would, if I was watching this on Netflix for the first time, a lot of the episodes from the first one would have been like, oh shit, this is probably a show I wouldn't mind having on in the background.
Yeah, but I wouldn't watch it.
I would have, if I had started doing Supernatural like a while ago, I probably would have given it the same treatment that I gave like House.
Yeah.
Which is I put it on in the background and then play a game while it's happening.
You know what? I probably would have stopped watching it, Bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, because you would have died from alcohol poisoning.
That too. Well, this episode, which I actually remember pretty fondly.
What's the name of this episode?
It's called Bloodlust.
Bloodlust.
Yeah.
So, Travis.
What's going to happen?
Bloodlust. Sam and Dean are in one of those motels that they're always in.
It's that one with the circles.
And they go to sleep. And then they wake up in a crazy dream world where monsters have taken over. And they need to hunt the monsters to put this world back to normal. And then there's like a giant spider, and they go to the moon is involved, and Ben's catching on now.
Yeah, this is just Bloodborne. This is exactly what it is.
I was trying to remember Bloodborne, but I haven't played enough of it to really remember what it's about.
No, because I was like, oh wait, this is a thing.
I was gonna say something about the lycanthropes, but that would have been too quick.
Yeah, it would have been way too quick. Jesus.
Yep. So that's what it's about.
God. Actually, the breakdown of Bloodborne. Do you know the breakdown of Bloodborne?
What is it?
All right. So here's the shibizzle. This country is cursed by a land. Like, it's just cursed by this thing. You don't really know what it is at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, if I had a nickel.
And like some of the townspeople are turning into monsters, like werewolves and shit like that.
Right.
But other ones are turning into like fucking aliens and shit. All the while, like, the church is being like, oh, the blood is evil, you probably shouldn't fuck around with it, while they're experimenting with it.
Sure.
Like the church government shit. And then it turns out they're the assholes. But yeah, it's like now, but it just replaced like actually the curse is just probably like the Native Americans, like, it's our curse, and like that's why the blood that is used for powers is just nuclear weapons.
Okay.
Interesting.
My brain's weird that I'm sober.
This is the most sober Ben has ever been on the show.
Well,
You're not wrong.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, Bloodborne is going to happen 10 years before?
Yep.
Let's find out.
Let's find out. And we're back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A dinosaur movie from when we were kids.
I got some Mormon literature during the break.
Yeah, we did. As soon as we stopped recording, too. I feel like they were waiting outside the door, listening to us, and they were like, "Okay, they stopped talking. Now knock on the door." I feel it because, as soon as we stopped recording, they knocked on the door.
Well, I was like, "Who is knocking on our door?
Yeah,
knocking on our door."
Oh my god!
I thought it was
Who is knocking
Bleep coming
on
back
it?
to get something she forgot.
Yeah, same. But alas, it was
wasn't
not.
that Bleep.
Yeah, no.
All right, but yeah, this was a pretty good episode. I can't wait to talk about it.
I agree. I'm pretty psyched. This episode was. I remember this episode pretty well.
This was a better back to basics than the previous episode.
I feel like
I agree.
this episode should have been episode 2, except for the fact that they do call Ellen.
Yes, they
So
needed to meet Ellen.
They needed to meet Ellen, but they should have met Ellen. Well, episode 1 was John dying, right?
Yes.
John died at the end. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh, like the book.
How many times can I make that joke this season? Well, we are getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
First, we
Yeah.
need to-
Sorry.
We need
we need to sum it up.
All right, so this episode opens in it opens in Red Mountain, Red Lodge,
Red
Montana.
Lodge.
Yeah.
Montana.
You got there.
Yeah, Blue Hotel, Montana. And so, Sam and Dean, they're on
Green
the hunt.
cabin.
They're getting reports of decapitations, mutilated cows. They go to investigate. They go into the town. They start looking around. They hit up a bar for some deets. That's where they meet a man named Gordon. After they sneak up on him behind the bar, just throw his ass against it.
Well, at first they find out that the 2 people who have been murdered,
They were vampires.
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 Yes.
And so he's giving them questions, stuff like that. That's when he starts talking about their dad. Moving on a little bit. Sorry about that. All right, lost my train of thought.
They're talking about their dad.
Talking about their dad. Starts telling him how great of a guy he was. That's when they're like, "Hey, how about we go help you with this hunt?" Stuff like that. He's like, "I'm more of a go it alone type of guy."
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, "All right, well, let bygones be bygones here, I suppose." And so that's when we see Gordon go on the hunt by himself, like an idiot. And that's when there's this short little fight between him and a vampire. He's starting to get his ass kicked by this vampire, and that's when Sam and Dean show up, save the day.
As they do.
As they do. And Dean, ferociously, viscerally attacks this poor vampire.
Yeah.
Cuts his head off, gets those bonus blood echoes.
Yeah, I was going to say, it really was like a bloodborne
Yeah.
attack. There was blood everywhere.
Fucking A.
I mean, not super everywhere, but it was all over. It was kind of it's like someone kind of dipped some straw and some blood and then blew it on Dean's face.
Or they took a paintbrush and they rubbed their finger.
they just went they did that thing. They were on a paintbrush.
It was like a squib malfunctioned in his face.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it.
But I did think it was funny, when it first happens, there wasn't a whole lot of blood, and then when he turns back to camera 4,
Yeah, then there's more blood.
There's more blood.
Well, that's because he, took some and was like, dip, dip, dip on my face.
Yeah.
Dip, dip,
You
dip,
can take
dip.
our lives, but you will never take our freedom.
Well, actually, a lot of people don't remember this, but in 2006, Marie Claire did say that the #1 fashion statement was the blood of your enemies. So
Fair enough.
Dean was looking
Nice.
good.
Hella fleek.
Unlike some other people in this episode, full offense, Samuel.
Yeah.
That fucking shirt.
Ugh. But anyways.
Any hoozles, so they save Gordon. Gordon's like, all right, well, shit, now I got to buy you a drink. And so they start drinking. Then they start getting like way too like into details, like way too specific with like kills and celebrating their kills. And like Sam is very uncomfortable by this because it seems to me like Gordon and Dean are cut from the same cloth but different parts of it.
Yeah.
Like but so
Gordon
they're
and Dean are cotton. Sam's like a silk.
That was the okay. There's we're just gonna roll past that.
I would say that Sam is like the fluffy inside of a pillow.
Ooh.
And Gordon is the outside of the outside of the pillowcase.
Or
it gets kind of rough, and then Dean is the inside that rubs up against the fluffiness.
Ooh.
That's pleasant. I would say like, Sam and Dean are the scratchy part of Velcro, and Sam is the soft part because they need each other to work.
Or what material do they make trip pants out of?
Those were jeans.
Yeah,
were they?
Yeah,
they were sort of. They weren't denim though.
Yeah,
They're like
JNCOs were denim.
Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wait,
now
are trip pants Jinkos?
They were a form of Jinkos or a form of trip pants.
I am losing my mind right
Are
now.
trip
They
pants
were-
Jinkos or are Jinkos trip
There were
pants?
Wait.
yeah, they were super big like khakis and black like
Is
pants.
this a situation where it's like
Okay, Google.
all trip pants are Jinkos, but not all Jinkos are trip pants?
I think that's the case
Okay.
Yeah.
because there are like denim Jinkos.
Denim
Trip
Jinkos.
Wait, what? Those are not trip. These are trip pants. Oh, you're talking about like goth pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goth
Yeah.
pants.
Let's see. We'll tap the second
Hope you
one.
enjoy my mouth sounds as I sip
They
on
are
my coffee.
$92.
Jesus.
Christ
Holy
on a
fuck.
cracker.
That has to be an inflation rate. I feel like they were not that expensive back in the day.
100% cotton. They were.
Oh, okay.
They weren't like, well, probably inflation.
I used to own some trip pants, and they were not that expensive.
I feel like in the
Like
heyday
these?
of. Let me see.
Look, I don't want to talk about it
those.
right now.
I feel like
okay?
in the heyday of trip pants, they were maybe $40, which is
Yeah.
like a high-end pair of pants.
I bet they didn't come with all the chains and shit on them though, right?
No, they did.
The ones I
Okay.
had chains and shit.
Oh yeah.
Right. I did not have any trip pants.
I mean, not that I had any. Shut up. Don't talk to me.
I didn't have
Ju-
any trip pants because my parents loved me.
Yeah.
Well, see, my parents didn't, so there you go. All right. Anyways,
Where was I?
trip pants over.
Okay, so they're having like this celebratory drink after the kill. Sam is uncomfortable, fun comfortable, if you will, and so that's when he decides to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam or Dean throws him the keys and says, "Remind me to slap the buzzkill out of you the next time I see
He
you."
said beat. Remind me to
Slap,
beat
slap, beat.
Slap beat. It's all violence.
No, punch, kick. It's all in the mind.
Okay, Bop It disagrees. Because if you slap when you're supposed to beat, you lose that game.
You lose
Yeah.
those points.
It'll
God, I
go.
am so funny tonight.
It'll
What
go,
the fuck? Yeah.
That's what Bop It sounds like.
Wipe out.
You pass me the creamer.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, so they're having the drink. Sam is uncomfortable. He leaves. Dean threatens him.
Which, hot.
Yeah, it was kind of. I got a little hard, but I just like making you uncomfortable over there. But so Sam and Gordon continue with their drinking. They match quarters.
Or Dean Gordon.
Dean and Gordon, sorry, they start like matching quarters and shit. That means like they're both just gonna pay for their drinks. But so Sam goes back to the motel, and he's having that same thing that happened to Gordon. He's like, "Oh shit, something's there." Looking around, nothing's there. Then he lets his guard down. Bam! Something's there.
Yeah.
Gets smacked in the back of the head with a phone. Gets kidnapped, taken by the vampires back to their nest. Start having a conversation. Eli, the male vampire, starts being like, "Hey, we need to kill him and move on with this shit." Lenore's like, "No. There are hemorrhoids, dentures, and elastic waistbands on this cup. I just noticed that." That's
Oh yeah.
funny.
Life begins at 60, my friend.
That is
Hey.
the Life Begins at 60 cup.
Yeah, so Lenore started saying like, "Hey, look, we're like your vegan vampires. We only eat animal blood,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and like we're not killing anybody. We're just doing what we have to do to survive, like the bare minimum. We're making do. We're trying not to hurt anybody, so please let us live. We're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
And Sam's like, why should I believe you? And she's like, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let you go. That's what she does.
Yeah.
They put the bag back on his head, take him back to the motel, and that's where we see Dean and Gordon continuing with their talk. And like Gordon's like, hey, we're of the same ilk. Your brother's not like us. He's a bitch. He doesn't want to kill anything.
I hate him.
Gordon, you know why you hate Gordon?
No, I was saying Gordon hates Sam.
Oh, yeah.
But I know why I hate Gordon.
Yeah.
Because he sucks.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Any hoozle. So they come back. Like Dean or Sam walks through the door. I don't know why I'm getting their names confused. And so Sam walks through the door and says, hey, I need to talk to you outside, Dean. Alone. Start having a conversation. Like Sam is like telling about how like the veganism of the vampires, why we need to let them live, things like that. That they're actually okay people. They're all right. And like Dean is fighting him on it, being like, no, look, they're monsters. We kill monsters. We kill monsters dead. We put them in the ground. And like Sam says, like, look, they're all right. They're not that bad. They didn't even put a mark on me other than the phone smash in the back of my head. And all the while we see Gordon lurking in the shadows.
Lurking.
As Gordon is wont to do.
Gordon is a lurker.
And so we kind of hear Gordon leave. And like as soon as like the engine like pulls off, they realize, oh, hey, he's gone. Because apparently at one point Sam hollers out that the nest was on the other side of this long bridge at the edge of town and stuff like that. And so they run inside to find the keys. Turns out he's taking the keys. And so off we are on like a race to get to the vampire's nest first. But before Sam and Dean leave, they have to figure out where the farm is. It's really crazy to me that Gordon still beat them there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much faster.
Sam basically like is just like looking at a map, and he immediately is like, okay, I counted how many minutes it was.
Yeah.
We turned down a road. Like I felt this. I know where the farm is.
Yeah.
All Gordon knows is that he has to cross a fucking bridge, and he is there immediately.
Yeah.
It's like he has a vampire radar, a vampdar. It's crazy.
Well, he does have a lot of experience with them, as we find out later on. But
That's true.
that doesn't mean you could smell them. I mean, well, you could, but I mean, like, find them immediately. So we cut to Lenore packing up her truck, and then that's when she's like, kind of, something's not right. I feel like I'm being watched. And she looks left, she looks right, nothing's around. She shuts the truck. She looks around one more time, and that's when we turn back, and bam! Gordon's right in her face. Smacks her up in the face, and then takes her inside, starts torturing her. Way too sexually for the CW back in the day, in my opinion, or WB. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a sexy, bloody,
It was weird.
stabby torture scene.
Yep.
Starts like cutting her with like dead man's blood, calling her a bitch. It was weird.
It was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun comfortable, as Ben would say.
Yeah. Way too fun comfortable for me.
Way too fun comfortable.
Yeah. Any hoozle, so this goes on for like, because when we cut back, she's just covered in cuts all over her chest and arms and face. And that's when like Sam and Dean bust in, and like Gordon gives like them the spiel about everything.
They're all monsters.
Right.
They're all evil. They deserve to die.
Exactly. Like way too like bringing way too much dualism into the life. I think
he's very calm with this discussion. He says earlier in the episode, like, what I like about this life is that it's so black and white.
Yeah.
And
Like
Dean is like,
there's no gray.
yeah, there's no gray. And the minute he said that, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone who says that everything is black and white automatically Yeah, stop torturing the cats.
Yeah, in the middle of our recording, Travis.
It's really funny.
It does add like a bit of like ambiance.
Yeah, because you hear something crashing in the background. You're like, what could that possibly be? Are those the Mormons we kidnapped earlier?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, they're currently
It's
hanging
just Travis being a dick to cats.
by their ankles from
Look,
the ceiling.
I have questions. All right, and those will be answered. Why is there a submarine in your book? All right, anyways.
But something I forgot to mention, I think it was before Sam gets kidnapped, he calls Ellen.
Yes.
And she's like, starts asking him about Gordon. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, yeah, he's a great hunter. And he's like, yeah, we're with him on a hunt. Yeah, Ellen's like, don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
He's an asshole. Don't work with him. Let him be alone. Let sleeping dogs lie. Mm-hmm. And, like, stuff like that. And, like, how he's, like, very, I guess, toxic is the best way that she put it.
It's very clear. We're gonna finish summing this up and then go into more details, but it's very clear pretty early on in the episode that Gordon is bad news.
Yeah.
And you first get this hint, and Ben, you pointed this out when he's talking about John.
Yeah.
He's just like, what a great fucking guy. Whereas every other character that we've met who knows John is like, fuck John.
Yeah, what a dick.
He poisoned my crops. He killed my wife. He spoiled the new Star Wars movie for me. Seriously, fuck John. Like, and Gordon is just like, I fucking love this guy. He's also, like in the beginning, you know, in the sum up, in the recap, this is the line we always hear: saving people, hunting things, the family business.
Yeah.
Gordon says, I like to kill things. Killing. He specifically uses that word.
He calls himself a killer way too much.
He calls himself a killer. He's very comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And, like, hunting things, I'm actually of two minds on this because it is a euphemism. Like, they are killing things. That is how that goes. And some of those things are very people-shaped. However, by definition, how Sam and Dean find out about their jobs, those monsters have to be killing people.
Yeah.
Right.
They have to be terrorizing people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not always like deaths that they follow.
It usually is, though.
It usually is.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Occasionally, it's a cattle mutilation, like we see here. But no, even then, you still had the 2 dead girls who'd been beheaded.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're still following deaths. Like,
but who was leaving the heads? I mean, they wasn't the vampires.
It was Gordon.
It does follow things.
But they're still suspicious deaths.
Right.
Beheading after some cattle mutilation. You're going to be like, oh, raised eyebrow.
No,
unless you're the sheriff.
I kind of want to finish the...
Yeah, sorry. Let's finish the recap.
I want to finish the recap before we cut back to this. But in the cold open, he uses a scythe.
Yeah.
Yes.
That motherfucker never comes back up.
I know. And that was a cool fucking scythe.
I know. It only popped back up when they find out that Gordon's also a hunter, and he pulls his like, how every hunter has their secret weapons compartment.
Yeah.
He pulls it out
built into their cool muscle car.
Yeah, and you see the scythe in the rack.
Yeah.
But that's it.
I want one of those racks in my car.
Ugh,
yeah.
Girl, me too.
Same.
What would I put on it? Who knows?
Dildos.
Possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
That's what I would
Oh my God, Supernatural Perry video where we're just like, for the lesbian vampire hunters video I want to make now. Where it's just like, yeah, I've got my tools right here. And it's just like half knives, half dildos.
To kill a lesbian vampire, you have to use a wooden butt plug.
Wow.
In my version, the vampires...
It's a wooden strap-on.
The lesbians are...
Oh, the lesbians are the hunters.
Are the hunters,
not
and they're
the
killing vampires.
Oh, okay.
Who are also lesbian.
Okay, so there's still lesbian
vampires.
vampires.
Yes.
So the lesbian hunters kill the lesbian vampires with a wooden strap-on.
Okay, look, we're not making a porn.
We are now.
Also, if you want to see lesbian vampire hunters, the porn, email us, heyassbutt@podcast@gmail.com.
Yep,
All right.
please
Anyways, finishing the sum up.
Give to our Patreon and we'll do it.
The Patreon we don't have.
Yeah, the Patreon we don't have.
What if we do have a Patreon by this point? Because this is going to be 4 months from now.
All right. So
not quite that long.
3.5 months from now.
Yeah.
6 months.
This is probably going to be like March or April.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be May.
Oh, that's right. So April or May.
It's going to be May.
Okay.
Anyways, so Sam and Dean find Gordon and Lenore.
Yeah, they kick open the door. They're like, hey, Gordon, what's up?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, nothing, as he cuts her. And so that's when they kind of have this short conversation. Sam like steps forward, being like, "Hey, let her go." That's when Gordon like grabs him by the throat and the arm and cuts his arm. Holds Sam's arm above the girl and says, "Hey, you know how these things, these monsters say that they can be good, and they look. I'm gonna show you what they really fucking are." He like holds his arm, like kind of drips blood onto her face. Her fangs pop out, and she's obviously hungry. She's tired. She's beat. She's like inches from death, if that. Millimeters for our UK friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then like she like is obviously like, "Oh fuck, I want this," but then she reels the teeth back in and pulls back and puts her face down and says, no, I do not need this to live. Kill me before I drink human blood. I like just do that.
Yeah.
And that's when like Gordon loosens his grip. Sam like pushes him aside, picks up Lenore. Gordon tries to make a move. That's when Dean pulls out his pistol and says, "Hey, bud, step the fuck back."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sam takes Lenore to her vampire buddies, to the Van Party, if you will.
Van Party of one.
Yeah. Van Party 2, Electric Boogaloo. And so that's when Sam or Dean and Gordon have a lovely chat, a little heart to heart.
Little gun to blade.
They really come to an understanding where Gordon realizes the error of his ways, and I'm just fucking with you. They fight.
Yeah,
They beat the shit out of each other.
Fight.
And then, like, because, like, Dean, he's got a pistol. Gordon's got a knife. Gordon stabs his knife into the table. Albeit cool, you're dulling the fuck out of that blade.
Yeah.
True.
But, I mean, if you have a whetstone with you, it's fine.
Yeah, but...
Also true.
Also true, but who has the time?
Obviously, Gordon.
He doesn't have any other job.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. But, so... Dean takes the magazine or the clip out of his pistol, puts the pistol on the table, and they have a little fisticuffs.
Mm-hmm.
They get a few strikes in, and that's when Gordon picks his knife back up, and Dean's like, "Fuck you!
Yeah,
come on, guy." And that's when he beats the knife out of his hand, throws him into a dresser. They break all the furniture in this poor farmhouse.
Yeah,
This is all beautiful. It didn't deserve this. That china, irreplaceable. Some nanny is fucking flipping over in her grave, doing like backflips over that shit.
I agree.
And then that's when Dean finally beats Gordon out of commission. And then he carries him. He picks him up and holds him by the head, by the neck, just kind of just forcing him to walk, and playfully smacks his head into the wall, not too hard, just enough to make the point.
Mm-hmm.
Ties him up into a chair and says, "I may be like you, I may not, but you're the one tied up in the chair."
Oh, yeah.
And that's when a few hours later, it's sunup. That's when Sam comes back. They have a few more words with Gordon and tell him, "Look, all the vampires made it out safe. They're gone. We'll call somebody to let you and cut you loose in 2 or 3 days. How about that?" Oh. And then Dean looks him longingly in the eyes and says, "You know what? I just got one last thing I think I forgot to do." It just uppercuts Jordan right in the fucking jaw.
So satisfying.
That was awesome. That's the punch John didn't get. By the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so they leave. They're stepping out to the car. And Dean says, "All right, I want you to clock me one in the face."
This was great.
And Sam's just like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Dean's like, "Look, I'm not going to hit you back. I just need to get even with you. Just hit him in the face."
Yeah, because earlier in the episode, Dean punched Sam.
Yeah.
It was a good, solid hit. I really, Sam didn't sell it very well, but that was a solid punch.
Because he's built like a fucking brick.
Yeah, also that.
That sound didn't match the fucking, the reaction, though.
I assume his cheekbones are made of steel.
Yeah.
His hand is actually broken.
Probably. Shit.
His bone is ivory.
Have you ever punched somebody in the face?
It hurts.
It hurts like a son of a bitch.
Yeah. Your finger bones do not mesh well with face bones.
Nope.
Yeah. No. That's why you go for the jaw.
Yeah, right there.
All right, well, taking notes.
Yeah. Learn how to fight on Habcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be anime, fighting, and booze. That's what this is going to be.
That's what this whole podcast is.
Yeah.
And tangents.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of which we are in one.
And Sam says, "Nah, man, I'm going to take a rain check on busting you in the face." That's for the slash fic.
Ha. Ha. Ha.
And then that's when they drive off into the sunrise.
Yeah, sunrise.
Yeah.
It's like 10 a.m.
The sun's.
Lenore's had enough time to get away.
Yeah, they just roll out. And then we end with a good guitar strum and captions by Vitek. It was lovely. I enjoyed this episode.
Yeah,
I did as
well. It was good. I liked it. Like I said, this should have been episode 2, and they somehow needed to incorporate Ellen at the end of episode 1 or somewhere in the begining of this episode.
Or even in season 1.
Or even in season 1.
Yeah, there's no reason why you can't have Ellen in season 1.
Because the only reason that Ellen was in the clown episode was because the only reason the clown episode existed was because they needed to fill more time after meeting Ellen.
Yeah.
This is the problem with Supernatural every once in a while, is that they need to go from point A to point D.
Yeah.
And they have to jump through a few hoops to do that, and the hoops they choose to do it with aren't always real great.
No.
Yes, that is unfortunately an issue with the show. But thankfully, we can wash last week's episode out of our mouths with this much better episode.
Yes,
yeah.
It really was. It even started with better songs. Like, well, okay.
Back in Black is fine.
So there was the like last time on Supernatural thing where it showed like John dying and meeting Ellen and doing all that, and Dean beating up the car.
And also just general, like, here's what the show is about.
Yeah, and here's general what the show is about.
We save
and
people,
while,
hunt things, family business.
What is it? Wheel in the Sky?
Wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
Okay, that's it.
Which I actually don't hate.
No,
I know you
Don't
hate
hate.
Journey, but it's one of the better Journey songs.
All right, so here's why I hate Journey. I played baseball in high school.
I see.
Yeah, you already know where this is going.
Yep.
Journey, specifically Wheel in the Sky Keeps on Turning, was one of the, like, every ball field fucking plays that song. That's why I don't like Wheel in the Sky. That's why I don't like a lot of Journey songs. There's like one that I do like.
I understand. I personally would punch out somebody in the face if they were like, "Don't Stop Believing," because I hate that song. I hate it so much.
But then they're back in the Impala and they play AC/DC, which, I mean, AC/DC's all right.
They're back in the Impala and they play
Back in Black.
Back in Black.
Do they play
the
Back
color
in
of
Black?
The Impala.
Do they play Back in Black anytime the Impala is back from being irreparably damaged?
I don't know, but I feel like they play Back in Black more than once.
I feel like that's where most of the show's budget has gone to.
Yes.
No, most of the fucking budget was its music and getting replicas of that Impala.
Oh, I bet.
Or mousse for Sam's hair.
You're not wrong.
Which
also
doubles as a pun. Okay.
Oh my God.
Sam's
hair.
Sam's entire look this episode. Can we talk about
Sam's
this?
whole look this episode was terrible.
Was not great.
Like, the shirt looked comfortable. The colors, if they were anything different, I wouldn't have had such a problem.
Great.
It reminded me, like, can toothpaste get old?
Yeah.
Yes.
It reminded me of, like, old toothpaste. You know how you like squeeze it out and there's the stripes in the toothpaste,
and it fades.
Well, it also
and it fades.
I don't know what was in the water in the early 2000s, but nobody's clothes fit properly.
No,
that was like a thing.
That was a thing in the early 2000s.
Yes.
It was like loose, baggy clothing.
Yeah.
So his shirt, it's not that it doesn't fit, but it's just not cut right for his frame, and it doesn't. There is a green shirt that Sam gets in later seasons that looks. It is a beautiful shirt.
Yeah.
And every time Sam wears something like this, which just doesn't look right on him and is a hideous color, has a poor design, I'm just like, it's all right, Uri. That green shirt's a coming.
It did look really comfortable, though, like Ben said. Like, I have some shirts that I think don't look good on me, but they are comfortable.
I just don't understand why. I get the flannel. However,
The brown.
I even get the brown, but sometimes Sam wears like a nicer button up, like a button up that I would wear to a casual, like a work casual type place.
Yeah, or like a casual coffee meetup.
Yeah, with jeans.
Like the snap buttons.
Yeah, like and I'm just like, why would you do physical murder labor in that?
I mean, that's generally most of my wardrobe is like button up or button down shirts.
But you don't do physical murder labor.
I don't do physical murder labor, but I'm in kitchens all the time.
That's true.
And it's really not conducive for kitchens, but that's what I wear, so.
I just feel like people need to wear t-shirts all the time.
That's dumb.
That is dumb.
Like a
I don't wear
tight
t-shirts.
black t-shirt on Sam.
Like, let me put it this way. No one expected Patrick Bateman of American Psycho to be dressed up that nice and to be murdering folks.
That's true.
Because no one murders anybody.
Oh, you mean to tell me that Sam and Dean aren't just dressed out in flannel and ratty jackets because they're trying to hide themselves as a murderer? Good fucking job, guys. Good fucking job.
What I'm saying, like when they wear like the nice flannel.
I'm
Like,
just saying, if
I would not kill somebody in this shirt I'm wearing right now.
I wouldn't kill somebody. I wouldn't kill somebody at all. But I mean,
I don't believe that.
You know what? Good point. But I don't know. I just feel like if I'm gonna be traipsing around the woods chasing down vampires, I'm not gonna be like my nicest button up, my nicest ugliest button up.
That's why he's wearing the brown shirt.
Yeah, I don't think that was his nicest button up. It was his comfortable button up.
True.
Yeah.
And then we also have to talk about Sam's hair.
That's his laundry day button up.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
We have to. I'm sorry. I have to get this out of the way before we start the episode.
Yeah.
Can we please talk about Sam's hair?
Yeah. It's only going to get worse, right?
It gets better.
I mean, it gets better, but it gets worse before it gets better.
I would say...
Because I've grown my hair out like that. It looks terrible.
I would say season 8.
Well, he's
really gets good.
Oh, good. So I have to wait fucking 700 years before I can see Sam's really good hair.
Well, see, as every guy learns when they grow their hair out, there's this stage where it starts like getting past your ear, but it's not really to your shoulders.
Oh, it's the worst stage.
It looks terrible. It does not look good.
It also doesn't help that Sam has decided to part his hair down the middle, which gives him these like curtain fringe, these like curtain bangs that kind of like, I don't know how to describe it other than
swoop.
Yeah, it's like a swoop. It reminds me of like a 1700s like Frenchman in the royal court.
Yeah.
Like, except it's not a white powdered wig. Because he's got like a little peekaboo swoop.
Yeah.
And then his hair is like curling in around. It's just
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a bowl cut gone unmaintained.
And I feel like, yes, that is a good way to say it, except without the bangs.
Yeah.
And I feel like Dean's look is very classic. I feel like with Sam, they were just like, we don't know what we want him to look like.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna throw things on him until it sticks.
Well, was it Jared Padalecki's idea to grow his hair out?
I mean, I don't know.
It's every guy. Like, most likely, they were like, all right, so most of what your wardrobe is going to be your choice. And so he's like, they were probably like, do whatever the fuck you want with your hair. Because that was not something that they were really like worried about, was his hairstyle.
Yeah.
And they were like, do whatever the fuck you want as long as you don't look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Jared Padalecki's a handsome man.
Oh, yeah. He looks good.
He looks good.
The hair.
Yeah, that hair.
But he's like, there's like something that else like really fits the character, though, is how much his hair changes because he's learning who he is as a person.
True.
Yeah.
And that's
also,
part of that.
I imagine being on the road and stealing money from people, you're not exactly going to the nicest salons.
No,
that's true.
You're either cutting your own hair or you're paying some cheap motherfucker that you find in a put down to do.
Yes. So I don't know. It's just something we're gonna have to deal with for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Eventually, you get to a point where you're just like, this is fine. This is fine.
Well, I feel like Sam's hair was also like of the time. Like that hairstyle was pretty in, I think.
Yeah.
Season 1, Sam hair was of the time.
Yeah.
Season 2 was not.
Okay.
No.
It was of the 16th century.
Yeah.
Or the 18th century, excuse me.
Anyways.
Any padoozle.
But yeah, now that we have that elephant in the room, out of the room, let's talk about the best character in this episode.
Yeah, the sheriff.
That fucking
Oh my
sheriff.
god. But as soon as I saw him on screen, I was like, this guy is great. He has this big mustache.
I wish he had been the one-time woman.
Yeah.
He was.
He kind of was.
Yeah, well, I wish he had been in the episode more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really great.
So this guy had the most beautiful handlebar mustache.
He really
amazing.
did.
And he's interviewing Sam and Dean, and he's like, all right.
Sam and Dean are interviewing
Yeah, Sam and
him.
Dean are interviewing him about the murders and the cattle mutilation. And he's like, cool, get out of my office.
Yeah.
And then Sam and Dean are like, but what about the cows that are being mutilated? And the sheriff's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, well, what if it's a satanic ritual? And the sheriff's like, okay. This is the only sheriff on the planet who was not taken in by satanic panic in the 80s.
Yeah.
He was like, that is not a thing.
Yeah.
I am an atheist sheriff who uses my critical thinking skills. I fucking loved him.
Yeah. Well, he was like, I see cows split open on the daily. So we're not worried about
gross.
that. Yeah. First of all, gross.
He describes how cows get split open and their innards run to the ground, like, in great detail.
Yeah.
Well, most likely
Almost as if he's the one doing the mutilating.
he
He's
grew up on a
not.
farm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, he's
probably.
in the middle of nowhere, Montana. Of course he grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
Red Lodge.
Montana is cowboy country.
Yeah.
Yes. Gay of cowboy
I really want to go
country.
up there.
Oh, it's beautiful. They have clear lakes.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful place. But yeah, this sheriff was amazing.
Glorious.
And then he's like, what newspaper did you guys work for again? And Sam and Dean did not decide on that before they went in.
You always got to have your backstory.
You gotta have your
Before you
backstory
go in.
straight.
But they're like what Weekly World News is what they said, or like News Daily Week or Weekly.
It's they basically were like, it's a newspaper called I'm a Liar, not a newspaper.
We're a part of the Fake Week.
All they had to do is be like USA Today.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna call and check on USA Today sources.
People
Nobody gives a
magazine.
shit. Yeah, people, or like a tabloid, be like National Enquirer.
Yeah.
Done.
What is it? The Weekly World News? That's the shitty one.
I don't know.
What,
Possibly.
what's the crazy one from?
That's what I mean. Like it's supposed to be like with the like Dracula kid and shit on it.
What's the crazy one from New York that John Mulaney talks about?
I don't know.
I think that is Weekly World News.
No, I think it's like the New York Post or something.
Yeah, New York, something like that.
It's something like that, but they have this like weird style of writing.
But I will say, fun fact, a little fun fact. The original conceit for the show was actually about a reporter who goes around and solves supernatural crimes, and not two brothers.
Okay.
Yeah. So what could have been? Oh, we also get a little Easter egg. They go to get like the guy who's there to guard the morgue. I don't know. This doctor to be like, hey, this doctor's in town and he needs you in his office. Stat. His name is Manners. The name of one of the producers, Kim Manners.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Nice.
I think Eric Kripke is the one name of a executive that doesn't pop up as a character in the show, as I mean like a mainstay.
Yeah.
Because Bobby Singer.
Robert Singer.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, can we also talk about the scene where like they find out that the girl who's been murdered is a vampire?
Yeah. First of all, great Silence of the Lambs
Yes.
references.
Yes.
And also, I loved how uncomfortable Sam was.
And Dean, because they kept like trying to pass it off on each other.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Sam was even more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because Dean was at least like, okay, fine, I'll open the box for you. But then Sam was just like,
Nah, dog.
no.
Sam's like, ooh,
No.
gross. I don't want to stick my hand in the mouth of a head I would take off of a person if I thought they were a vampire.
Yeah.
I will say this. I thought that it was a little contrived, right? Because they have to they have to like get Sam's hand in this vampire lady's mouth so that they can see the fang holes.
Yeah.
And it felt very like Dean was like, hey, maybe we should look in her mouth to see if something was stuck in there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's down her throat. And that was like, this has never come up before. It feels like you just need to get from point A to point B.
Well, I mean, if you've watched Silence of the Lambs, you know that's where the moth is.
Oh, yeah, they make reference to that, but it just feels weird that
Yeah, well, if
like,
you're
what
like
monster is
if
that?
you're like Dean, who I assume on his off time just watches 80s movies all the time. Well
you wouldn't
Silence
be
of the
wrong.
Lambs from the 90s, but still.
It would still be something he would be interested in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know. It just feels kind of like
It is contrived.
it's a titch like contrived.
Well, they were like, how do we make him do this?
It didn't feel. Here's how I decide if something is contrived or not. Is the writer looking for an excuse, or is this something the character would actually do? Would the character make a Silence of the Lamb reference? Yes. But would he be like, oh, we need to stick my fingers down somebody's throat? I don't think so.
Well, he wasn't really sticking her down the throat. He was just like, hey, let's look inside the lip.
No, he stuck. Sam was. He was like, get in that throat, Sam.
Yeah.
Get in that throat.
Go sep deep.
That thrusty.
Get in that throat. Oh, I also have a note that says, Dean, put your dick in a car. And I don't remember why I wrote that, but I did write it down.
Because he was talking about having his car fixed up?
Oh, yeah. And Sam was like, you guys want a room?
Yeah.
Get a room? Yes. So do you guys want to spend some time talking about Gordon?
Yeah, so Gordon was an asshole.
Just from top to bottom.
Yeah. And so Sam called Ellen, and Ellen was like, don't hang out with this guy.
He's a shit.
And you can see, like, right after that scene, it cuts back to Gordon and Dean. And Gordon is, like, immediately manipulating Dean into this whole, like, hunting is black and white thing.
We're the same.
Yeah.
You have this hole inside of you.
See, it's crazy to me that Gordon is very much a loner and wants to be alone, but how hard he tried to push Dean into being like, yeah, we need to work together.
Well, I think what has happened is I don't think Gordon, I mean, it's possible that he does want to work alone, right? Because he seems like and again, this isn't a term I throw around lightly, a psychopath.
Maybe he got a murder boner from how Dean killed that vampire?
Oh, it was very intimate.
Absolutely.
This is Dean's most intimate kill because he is right there. He takes off this vampire's head. He gets the blood
100%.
on the face. Yeah, but I think that Gordon would work with other people, but hunters are connected. He says, you know how hunters talk.
Yeah.
And Dane and Sam, who have been sheltered from the rest of the Hunter Network, are like,
what?
No, I do not know how hunters talk.
Yeah.
Right? So that's probably like, one, okay, these guys are cool to hang out with.
Yeah.
Because they haven't heard that I'm a shitbag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if Ellen is immediately like, oh, no, don't hang out with him.
Yeah.
Then it's probable that every other hunter, it's gotten through the grapevine that, like, Gordon is bad news.
Yeah.
So that's why I think he puts on the I work alone thing, is because I'm not being rejected.
He's a smarter version of John, because, like, John would, like, just be shit until people left.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He left first.
Yeah.
Well, I think the difference between John and Gordon is that John does care.
Yeah. John would still... Here was the big difference between, like, even as an asshole, John still saved people.
Yeah, he's
and
still...
I think
that's still
you were
attempt.
like, Gordon obviously does not care about the saving people aspect.
Right.
He only cares about killing monsters, almost specifically vampires.
Yes.
Yeah, because he killed his sister. Like, he already had
Yes.
the reason why he was in it. He already had his revenge.
Yeah,
why
also
is he still going after?
The whole, like, oh, I killed my sister thing. I saw that coming.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
it was kind of set up as a reveal, because in the conversation that Dean and Gordon are having,
Like,
in the bar,
I know it was supposed to be a reveal.
Yeah.
But it was a really weak reveal. Because I was like, because when he was explaining it to Dean in the bar, I was like, okay, his sister got turned into a vampire and he had to kill her.
Yeah.
And then, 20 minutes later in the episode, it's like, oh, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
If it had been a different monster, I think it would have been a better reveal.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
And also, this episode is a titch heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a little...
It's like canned ham heavy-handed.
Yeah. I don't remember watching this for the first time and what I thought exactly, but I like to think at, 14, 15, that young Ari was smart enough that the minute they were like, this world is black and white, that I would have been like, oh, I bet they're going to figure out that it's not black and white.
Yeah.
That there are shades of gray and everything.
Yep.
But yeah, so there's this conversation.
There's at least 50 of them.
Yeah. And they are sexy, sexy grays.
Wait, actually, there's 150, right? Because there's 3 books.
Oh, yeah. 150 Shades of Grey.
I think 50 Shades of Grey should have been a slash fic from the X-Files.
Got it. So there's this conversation when Dean or Gordon are having the "we're cut from the same cloth" conversation.
Yeah.
Dean is like, "How'd you get into the biz?" And Dean tells this story about how he's finding this monster that I don't remember the name of.
He doesn't say what it is.
Yeah, he doesn't say.
He's finding this monster. He and his dad take it out. Sammy's in the car. Dean's 16. And he has this moment where he's like, oh, God, other 16-year-olds, I'm not like other girls.
Yeah.
Other 16-year-olds my age are worrying about pimples and going to prom. And here I am looking at this crazy shit that like nobody else is going to experience.
Yeah.
And that's where Dean really is like, this is my life now. This is what I'm doing. And I love it. Right.
Yeah.
Gordon says, and that's where you decided to embrace the hunter life.
Yeah.
So then Dean's like, turnabout's fair play. Tell me your, tale, size, and woes.
Mm-hmm.
And Gordon says, I was about 18, or I just turned 18. Vampire breaks into my house, is attacking my sister. I try to save her, and he throws me up against the wall. When I come back to Vampire's gone, my sister's gone.
Yeah.
Which was like, notice he said gone and not dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously I couldn't explain that to my family, so
I hightailed it out of there.
Yeah, hightailed it out of there. I tracked down that vampire and I killed him.
Yep.
Got my revenge from that fang, which is kind of like a slur.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I always find like slurs in character lore interesting like that, like Mudblood from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Because it just makes the whole lore and world feel more cemented.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's that thing where it's like it's so familiar to these people that they start calling it other things other than a proper vampire.
Nothing.
Like, oh, that's a fang.
Nothing makes a world feel more real than prejudice.
Yeah. Well, that too.
Because there's so much of it in ours. Okay. So, and then it gets revealed when they're trying to convince Gordon not to kill Lenore. Dean's like, hey man, the fang that killed your sister deserved to die, and we get that. And Gordon's like, the vampire didn't kill my sister. The vampire turned my sister into a vampire, and I killed my sister.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like this dun dun dun. And I think that it is, but it's not because it didn't. Yeah.
I feel like it didn't. I feel like we're all. I mean, you guys are ingrained in the show enough to know stuff like that, and I feel like just in general we know enough about like show writing and stuff that it was pretty obvious to us.
It's like going back. Oh, this is going to be like way too much praise for the show. It's like going back to Shakespeare and complaining about tropes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like this is when like sure there were times before this when shit like this happened, but this is when it really got more like mainstay and like really into the mainstream tropes like this.
Well, and I think the reveal is not that the sister was a vampire and that Gordon killed her. I think the reveal is that Gordon doesn't care.
Yeah. Gordon doesn't care that he like killed his sister.
Yeah. Because and I talked about this last season in one of our opening sections where like even if I don't find it realistic to where like you could kill somebody even if they totally deserve it and just be totally fine with that, even if it's self-defense.
Well, isn't that a thing with Dean in the first season?
Yeah, Dean kills...
He kills someone, right?
Like a human.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Was it from the redneck episode? Was it that he killed one of the guys?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I think.
That sounds right.
God, something happens. I don't know. He kills somebody and he's like... Oh, I feel uncomfortable with this. Yeah. Even in the... We should remember this better. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. We do these episodes and we discard it away.
Yep.
Kind of have to.
Yeah, I know, right? We got a lot to go. But like, yeah. So the fact that Gordon, like Dean killing a stranger... He feels some remorse for that. Yeah. Just because this stranger's a human being. Uh-huh. Right? And true, he doesn't necessarily feel that with a monster. Mm-hmm. But he does, at the end of the episode, have a moment where he's like, God, what if we've killed hundreds of monsters that are just trying to live their lives and not hurting anybody?
Yeah. Like, well, not like the Wendigo. He was hurting people.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, and I don't think they've killed that many monsters who are not hurting people, because literally how they find the monsters is by researching suspicious deaths.
Yeah, that's how they find is by people being dead.
Right. But we do have that moment with Dean later, that kind of epiphany. But like, Gordon killed his sister.
Yeah.
His sister.
And then felt nothing.
And then was fine because she wasn't human.
Yeah, his rationale for that was, it wasn't her anymore.
Yeah, she's already dead.
Yeah.
Even though we see you can be turned into a vampire and still keep your basic personality.
Oh yeah, that's what I think absolutely happens. Is you're just a vampire. It's like being a vampire in Skyrim.
Yeah.
You're still who you are.
Yeah.
You just have a bloodlust.
Yeah. Although I will say...
I feel like this episode was called Bloodlust not because of the vampires, but because of Gordon.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun!
Whoa!
Oh, can we talk about the fact that this happened 3 fucking times in the episode? I feel like I'm being followed. But it's fine. Just getting attacked!
Literally 3
times! Because it happens in the cold open with the vampire girl who's being chased.
Yes.
She's like hiding behind a tree and she's like, is it safe? Mm-hmm. It is. Just kidding, Gordon's there.
Yeah.
And then again...
happens with Gordon.
Or with Sam.
Yeah. No, it happens with Gordon.
Yeah, that too.
Sam and Dean do it to Gordon.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It happens 4 fucking times.
Yeah, and then with Sam.
Yeah, when he's like, is somebody following me while I'm getting the soda outside of my hotel room? No. And then with Lenore.
Yeah, 4 times.
4 fucking times. Which, by the way, that last scene, Travis made us watch like 4 times.
This was amazing. In this scene, so Lenore is like packing stuff up in her car and she's like, something suspicious is going on. And then
she like looks around like 5 times.
Gordon pops up.
Right, by the way, right behind her, how did he sneak up on her? How?
I was about to say something very racist.
Wow. Oh, also Gordon's black. Don't know if you mentioned that.
But
he's the second of prominent black characters and is evil. So
good
job, Supernatural.
When Gordon pops up behind Lenore and Lenore turns around and sees him, it plays like the cheapest, like, Buckham. Yes. And I rewound it like 4 times to listen to it again because I love audio jokes, and that is like an audio joke to me. Is like, wouldn't it be great if we put in this stupid cheesy sting when the guy pops up?
It should have just been the alert sound from Metal Gear Solid 1.
Ah, so good.
Ring.
Yeah, so that happened 4 goddamn times. By the 3rd time when Sam was in the hotel room and he was just like, oh, I'm safe, I was like, fuck, these people deserve to die. They're goddamn idiots. They are.
Is everyone deaf in this episode?
Yeah,
apparently deaf
and blind.
Also,
I appreciate the fact that Lenore was like, we're sending you back, not a scratch on you. Sam took a goddamn telephone to the head.
Yeah.
He should be talking in mush right now.
He took like a 2006 landline phone to the head.
Not like a cell phone.
Yeah, someone didn't slap him with an iPhone 10 Plus or something.
No.
Which I feel like
iPhone X, but whatever.
Whatever. I feel like if the fucking like iPhone 6
it went
Plus.
Bring. The phone went bring.
Yeah, well, bring because it still had bells in it.
Yeah.
Man, remember when phones had bells in them?
Oh,
yeah.
That's why they called him Ma Bell.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if that's true.
Did you ever have to use a rotary phone?
Yes. Actually.
Those are fun.
I remember seeing a rotary phone for the first time, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I was just like, the entire time, I was just like, Sam should be drooling on the floor right now.
Yeah.
Like, he was unconscious for a while. Like, he should be DED dead.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be dead, but his brain should be
a
damaged.
vampire.
But that's a trope.
A vampire hit him with like a 20-pound phone.
Yeah, vampires who are stronger than people.
Yeah. Not like demon strong, but still vampire strong is still pretty fucking strong.
Yeah, it's still stronger than a human.
Yeah.
Sam got some good punches on.
Yeah.
Speaking of punches, Dean punched Sam.
Yeah.
A few times.
Yeah. Because it happens... No, wait, he only punches him once.
I thought it was like... No, yeah, it is once.
Yeah. It's a solid punch, though.
Yeah.
It sounded like a good connect.
Mm-hmm.
But...
I think the reason why it felt so solid, was because of the sound.
Yeah.
Although Sam just pops back up and is like, I'm fine. I take punches to the face all the time.
Yeah.
This episode is really about foreshadowing.
Is it?
Yeah, very fucking much
Very
so.
The whole, like, black and white, the killing of sister.
I really wish we could talk about it more.
Yeah, which we can in a couple of episodes.
And in a very ambiguous way, we can say the black and white, the enjoying of murder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We are
the murdering monsters at all costs. No care or thought as to who they are as individuals.
Yeah.
I will say this. I feel like we can say this is not going to be the last time we see Gordon.
Well, I mean, I figured
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah,
he comes back this season, in fact.
Yeah.
So
I will say, you're gonna love what happens to him.
Yes, it is satisfying. Is it as satisfying as Elder Toguro? Yes. In Yu Hakusho?
Oh my god.
Elder Togoro's death, by the way, very satisfying.
Fucking led me on with that shit so much.
I really did. Because, okay, hold on, sidebar. Okay, so Elder Toguro is this character who is essentially becomes immortal by the end of the series. And spoilers for Yu Hakusho. And he's called Elder Toguro because he's the Elder Toguro brother. There's two of them.
But he's the smaller one.
He's very tiny and he's very sadistic. And he's such a dick.
Yeah.
Like, you want him to suffer.
Yeah,
like,
he's a dick.
Imagine if like the T-1000 or like the T-2000 from Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the guy that was pretty much liquid metal.
Yeah.
Imagine if he had a really shitty personality and was way too sadistic.
Yes.
That's kind of what he's like. Like he can regenerate like anything. And
yeah,
turn
he can
his body.
regenerate. If any of him still exists, he can regenerate from it by the end of the series. He is OP. So he dies several times and then he keeps coming back, and every time I would be like, he's really gone now.
Yeah, I know.
He's really gone. And Travis would be like, oh, thank God. What a satisfying death for that guy. Like, fuck him.
No,
and then he'd come back.
The first time wasn't satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
Because his brother just kind of spikes him into the ground. Is like, you're done.
Yeah. So I wasn't like, I was like, he does come back from that. But then the second time he died, I was like, that's really it. That's the end.
Yeah.
And then he came back again.
Yeah, and I was like, fuck off.
Yeah. So Gordon's fate is as satisfying as the Elder Togoro's fate.
Okay, cool.
At least to me. It felt like a massage.
Nice.
When I saw that episode.
Yes. Sometimes Supernatural gets things right, and sometimes they do things that are like,
it's poetic.
Dear God, what the fuck are you doing?
Yes. But this episode is definitely in the right.
Yeah.
Even though, again, the themes are titch heavy-handed.
Well, I think like they have 45 minutes.
That's true. I don't know. I felt like they have sewn together the internal conflict and the external conflict better.
Yeah. Here's what I want. I want Netflix to buy Supernatural, and Netflix is like, hey, go just fill up an hour.
Oh my God.
Go nuts with it.
And then Supernatural never has to end because Netflix owns it.
Yeah, I would love that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I still say...
Sounds like a goddamn nightmare.
I still say that they should cut off Supernatural at 365 episodes.
Yes, good
and then
idea.
have an extra bonus episode just in case it's a leap year. And they only play that one episode every 4 years.
Yes, that's a good idea.
It's the French mistake.
Like a Christmas special.
Yeah.
There you go.
Also,
except it's a leap year special.
Just finishing my...
What season is the Christmas special? Do you remember?
3.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Oh my God.
Oh, season 3 is like my least favorite season.
Oh man.
But anyways,
Can't wait to get to that.
There's this point. It's very clear that Gordon is just like, fuck Sam from the go. But he keeps saying like, Sam's different from us. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. He's like your mom when you won't take a sweater when it's too cold out.
Uh-huh.
It's fine. You're just going to get pneumonia.
Yep.
It's fine. Sam just doesn't want to recklessly murder beings. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but Gordon and Dean are in the hotel or the motel, and Dean's like, yeah, where is Sam? And Gordon's like, car's still here. Might have taken a walk. looks like the kind of guy who would take a walk.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did you turn taking a walk into looks like the kind of guy who worries about his heart.
Yeah.
And is into cardio. Like, how did you do that, Gordon?
Looks like the type
man.
of motherfucker that eats all his leafy greens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, taking a walk is pretty fucking gay, so... Walking is actually queer culture.
Walking is queer culture.
Walking is queer culture.
You look like the type of asshole that pours milk on his cereal.
Ugh, what a dick. I love this.
You look like the type of son of a bitch that uses a turn signal before he turns.
You dick.
Before he even presses the brakes.
You look like the type of person who says thank you, you sick bastard.
You look like you give good tips at restaurants even when you get shitty service.
Ugh, because you understand that sometimes servers had bad days and they're dependent on this for their money and rent.
You look like the type of asshole that opens the door, like you only open it when somebody's like at a reasonable distance from you.
Yeah, you don't just open it when they're halfway down the street and then you have to wait for them to catch up and it just makes everything super awkward and the other person feels like they have to jog but they don't like jogging. Yes.
You look like the type of asshole that tells people to have good shifts whenever you leave a store.
Here's the thing. Gordon is such a dick that I seriously could imagine a situation where he was just like, opposite day, all normal rules of society go out the window.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew. And that's every day for him.
When you just cut loose in Grand Theft Auto, like you save.
Oh,
and then just start murdering everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Gordon.
That's how he lives every moment of his life.
Yes.
God damn.
He's so calm when he's torturing Lenore. It's very unsettling.
Yeah.
Because he walks in and Sam and Dean are like, okay, what if we chill out? And Gordon's like,
I'm chill.
I'm totally fine. Murdered stripes.
Yeah.
Murder stripes.
Hey, I strapped up Lenore to match your shirt, Sam.
Oh, God.
You know those memes where they'd rename animals?
Yes.
I feel like murder stripes is what we should call tigers now.
Oh, murder stripes.
Murder stripes.
And zebras are gentle stripes.
Life stripes.
Life stripes.
Fruit stripes.
Fruit stripes.
Fruit stripes.
Yes.
Yes.
I like the gum.
Oh, man. I wish that flavor lasted longer.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, what else do we have to say about this episode? I feel like we had their dad.
Their dad.
John died at the end of episode 1,
Oh,
season
like the
2.
book.
Yeah, how many times can you say that in this episode?
I don't know. I'm gonna go for the record.
Finish your drink every time Ari says.
Oh, God, please don't. You'll die by the end of this season.
Now I can really kill somebody. But he's still very much present in the, Sam and Dee's life.
Right, yeah.
Particularly with Dean. This episode's really about Dean.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's Dean's story. He learns to be less of a dick.
Well, you've probably had somebody close to you die.
All of my families are immortal.
Really?
And my friends.
Really?
Y'all are both immortal now.
Yeah, well, I'm a cyborg, so.
Like you haven't had like a grandparent?
No, I have. I'm kidding.
Okay. No, I have met people that have nobody in their family has died, and it's always weird because they've never had to experience death.
Not even like their dog or anything?
Yeah, not even that.
Whoa.
That's an extremely lucky person.
Yeah.
And I've got some bad news from them.
Yeah, in like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I'd say it's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2020 is going to be a rough year.
They've reached peak life.
Yeah, just because like even though someone's dead doesn't mean they still aren't. Like they're
Present.
even with like just all you have of them is a void.
Yeah.
It's still something with you.
Yes. And very much Dean talks about like he's putting on this brave face for Sam, which Sam's an adult, but whatever. Yeah. He's putting on this brave face for Sam but he feels this hole where his dad has left.
He's always had to protect Sam.
Yes.
And so he's going to do no matter what it takes, no matter what detriments it causes himself.
I agree. And that's not totally on
Healthy.
him. It's not totally healthy, of course.
Yeah.
But it's not totally on him. His dad.
His damn
Freudian
dad.
slip.
Yeah.
His dad, put that on him as a child. Like, you have to protect Sammy. You have to protect Sammy. But, Sam is an adult and you have to be able to talk these things over with him. You just can't pretend.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Sam sees through it. So not only is he pretending, but he's doing a bad job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Dean had some growing to do, which he thankfully did do in this episode. Like, he realizes...
I think Sam is more grown than Dean realizes.
I agree. Yeah. Which will actually, that's a conflict that continues through the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote down this episode is so good but so frustrating, and we can't really talk about this, but there's this lesson learned that, like, not everything is black and white. People can change.
That's part of the heavy-handedness of this episode.
It is, but what's so frustrating is that about, I don't know, 6 seasons from now, Dean is going to have forgotten that lesson.
No.
Really, about 2 seasons from now, Dean is going to have forgotten that lesson.
No, next episode.
Yeah, hold on. 2 seconds from now. It's just so fresh. One of my least favorite TV show things, because we have to continue the show, is everything goes back to status quo.
Yeah.
Which sometimes works on comedies where the characters are supposed to be bad people anyways.
Right.
Right? Like, Cartman never learns his lesson, and that's fine. I don't care. But Supernatural is not a comedy. Or at least not a straight comedy.
No.
And it's certainly not one where its protagonists are framed as terrible people.
Yeah.
Notice I said framed as. So Dean should have learned this lesson by now, that, like, things aren't black and white. You know, sometimes monsters can be the good guys.
Well,
And he just promptly fucking forgets it.
that's
Unless
something
it's convenient for him.
because it was ingrained into him from John that monsters are bad.
I know, but it's just frustrating to see him learn over and over again.
And watching the show a few times, having to go through those over and over again.
Right. Or not learn and have him, like, you know, not learn the lesson and have him face the consequences for that, except, oops, there aren't any consequences because things have to go back to status quo.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about an episode from season 7 that I don't like. That's what I'm thinking about. I just hate this episode.
Oh, you
but
mean...
yes, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but overall, great episode.
Yeah.
Let's get into some Freak of the Week.
Let's do it.
Freak o' the week.
Freak o' the Week. So, we know things about vampires, right?
Yeah.
We get a general. They suck blood. They're sexy monsters that suck blood.
Vampires were the forefront of media for a while.
They
so
really were.
I feel like everyone kind of has a good idea about vampires
You know
these
how,
days.
like, people were obsessed with ninjas for a while.
Yeah.
And pirates. Zombies. Vampires and angels back in the 90s.
Yeah. Vampires definitely got that treatment.
Vampires got their heyday. And one thing that all those vampire adaptations had in common is that all the vampires in them were sexy.
Yes.
And sympathetic.
Sexy, sympathetic vampires.
Sexy, sympathetic.
Sexathetic vampires.
Would you say that Lenore was sexy, or Eli for that matter?
Lenore is played by Tara from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. One half of the lesbian power couple, Willow. So
Okay.
yeah, I would say she's sexy.
Fair enough. Well,
And
you
even
know,
if she's not sexy, she's definitely sympathetic.
you know
Yeah.
how much of Buffy the Vampire Slayer I've seen.
Exactly. 0% of it.
Same.
Well, I'm here to tell you, she's fucking fantastic.
Cool.
But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
The point is that most vampires, and in Supernatural, because the last vampire episode was a sexy vampire.
I will give you that currently 97% of like media produced that has vampires in it these days. The vampires have to be aesthetically pleasing.
Well, and even if they
Yeah.
aren't sexy, they are sexual.
I feel like vampires are kind of inherently sexual. There's just something about them that's like, ooh,
Sexy,
we
sexual
bite each other
vampires.
and we suck each
We
other's
share
blood
bodily
and
fluids,
share
and we're a
bodily
metaphor
fluids
for
and
sex.
It's all a very like sexy concept, and we live forever, so we can just fuck endlessly.
But vampires didn't start out that way.
No.
And the question I want to ask today, this question most eternal is, why are vampires so fucking sexy / sympathetic?
Because goths needed something to do.
You
Other than
are
smoke and
totally
drink
right.
coffee.
God, actually. And we're going to talk about the OG goths, a.k.a. the Romantics.
Yes.
I'm sure you've heard of Mary Shelley.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure you've heard of the fact that Mary Shelley had sex on her mother's grave.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which,
That is
Step
the most
it up.
fucking goth thing I've ever heard.
correct.
Yeah. You don't know about people having sex in cemeteries because of that?
Jesus Christ.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. One of the very first sexy vampire novels, or poems, I should say, is actually called The Vampire, except it's spelled hotter because they use a Y
instead of an I.
Vampire, like pyre, like fire.
Oh, yes.
The hipster, shitty, pretentious way of spelling it, sure.
Yes, which is sexier.
Yeah, pretentiousness is sexy.
It's a short work of prose fiction published in 1819 by John William Polidori, and is actually based off of Lord Byron's like myth and legend.
Oh, just Lord Byron in general.
Right. Lord Byron, the poet slash sex god slash terrible father, whose daughter, by the way, Ava Lovelace, basically started computer science.
Nice.
Yeah.
So fun facts abound. He's known for his Byronic heroes, which are these like sexy, tragic heroes who are kind of shitheads, which he kind of was a shithead.
So it's kind of like him.
He was probably super gay with Percy Shelley. I don't know. Or Keats, maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows what's happening. But the point is
Butt
that
sex.
vampires really get sexy with this 1819 work. And continue to be sexy from there on. You've got Carmilla, which is a lesbian vampire piece that was written in 1871.
Wasn't there something...
And it predates Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was written in 1897.
Wasn't there some series recently that it's called Carmilla?
And is about lesbian vampires?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that's like kind of an adaptation of that, or
It's probably a modernizing of it.
I haven't seen the web series. I think it's a web series.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the web series, so I can't say. It's probably inspired by. However, from what I'm getting from the Wikipedia page about Carmilla, first of all, it's told from the point of view of Laura, who is you get some predatory lesbian tropes going on. And it's told from Laura's point of view. So I don't know if it's direct.
It might be.
It might be. They might have just updated like the morals.
Probably.
Right? Because we're not scared of vampires or lesbians these days. Well, some of us aren't. Of course, you got Dracula, which is an epistolary novel. Epistolary. Which means it's written as a series of letters and diary entries.
Right.
That was, of course, published in 1897 by Irish author Bram Stoker. As well as... introducing Count Dracula, of course, and Professor Abraham Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Who helps take out the vampire. Now, all of these stories have things in common. They all deal with repressed sexuality and Victorians who were terrified of sex.
Yeah.
And hated it to some degree, right? Have you ever heard of piano legs being draped so as not to, boil the blood?
What?
Yeah. That was a thing.
God.
Victorians used to drape piano legs because they were considered sexual. And young men might see them and lose their shit.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So vampires in these early days are just representations of sex. They deal with exchanging blood. There's this hypnotic element where they can seduce their victims with it.
Is that how people have sex?
Yes.
Yeah,
They
that is
cut
how
themselves
that happens.
open and then rub their blood together?
Yeah, it turns out, no.
Well, it turns out, actually, one of the progenitors of the vampire literature is called Varney the Vampire, and a lot of vampire tropes started with Varney.
Okay.
Particularly the two holes in the neck
Ah.
and having fangs. Vampires having fangs, that's from Varney.
Right.
As well as the hypnotic powers, the sneaking through the window, the super strength. Gotta have the super strength.
This just
course.
sounds like
The sparkling
really
stuff.
Sparkly
early-
No,
stuff.
I'm just kidding. That wasn't until later.
Yeah.
This just sounds like really early smut.
Yes, really early, kind of boring smut.
Yeah.
Because in most of those books that I just mentioned, it ends with the vampire being killed off. except for the OG one, the Polidori one, which ends with the vampire escaping after killing a woman.
Yeah.
Right? His wife on her wedding night, which if you don't think that's symbolic, y'all are dumb.
Yeah.
So vampires were meant to be like these titillating characters.
These titillating characters, but also a warning. Hey, because they're all these men who are seducing women.
If you have sex, you die afterwards.
If you have sex, you get pregnant, and then you die.
And you go to hell.
Yeah. I mean, don't be seduced by these powerful, dangerous men. Which gets taken to the extreme in Varney the Vampire, which is which gets taken to the extreme, in later works, modern day works, including the anime adaptation of The Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which features a space vampire.
Awesome.
Space vampires.
Vampire.
Oh, you took it from me.
But Varney the Vampire, who is the, progenitor for a lot of these tropes that are pretty recognizable in vampire fiction, is also the case of the first sympathetic vampire, which I'm defining as either a vampire who attempts to be a good guy by not killing people, a vampire who still gets into some murder, but, he means well, and, is trying to live his best life, and that includes murder sometimes.
Right.
Or a vampire who is totally evil, but hates the way he is, right? Which definitely Varney falls under, which is a dumb name for a vampire, I think we can all admit. He breaks into people's houses and kills young women and tortures families, and he doesn't exactly revel in it, but he still does it, and he doesn't feel super guilty about it.
Right.
He turns a young woman into a vampire to get back at her family.
Wow.
But he hates the fact that he's a slave to these desires. He doesn't want to be a vampire. It's also important to note that Varney is told from the vampire's point of view.
Okay.
Unlike every other work I've mentioned, which are told from the human's point of view. So Varney is definitely a huge influence on several vampires in popular culture, including Barnabas Collins from the TV soap opera Dark Shadows, Nick St. John from the terrible and thankfully short-lived show Moonlight, and of course the biggest, most sympathetic, most sexiest vampire of them all, Louis de Pontdulac from Anne Rice's Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
I'm also going to throw a stat in there as sexy, sympathetic vampire. So, Interview with a Vampire. It's huge.
Yeah.
It spawns several sequels. It spawns a movie and also several sequels. It's published in 1976. And I don't know if you know, but it's also pretty goddamn gay.
Yeah.
Which just adds a layer of this, weird... for the 70s.
Right. Yeah.
This, sort of sinful sexuality, something to be feared. But the vampires in Interview with a Vampire are extremely sympathetic. Louis de Pontdulac doesn't want to eat humans.
Yeah.
He only succumbs to his bloodlust and gets a daughter out of it. He turns a 5-year-old into a vampire because of it.
Right.
Claudia. They don't like the fact that they're mortal. They feel very lonely. They have outbursts of rage, but they're freaking out about their new state. Lestat's really the one who's I'm cool with vampirism. And even he's still I don't know, I don't want to be immortal forever. This kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So that was published in 1976. And I think when we talk about the modern day sympathetic sexy vampires, your Edwards, your Mix from Moonlight, your
were there vampires?
other vampires, Angel or Spike.
Were there vampires in Being Human?
Yes.
Were they?
Mark Pellegrino picks one actually.
Yep.
Oh,
And
okay.
yes, the
And
main
they were-
vampire in Being Human is this sucks.
Yeah.
And I want to feel.
Was he
love.
one of the? Was he one of the main people that what's her face lived with? He was a vampire.
Yes.
Was it she was a ghost, he was a vampire, and the other guy was a werewolf?
Yep.
Okay, that's what it was.
But Angel and Spike from Buffy, all of those sympathetic, sexy vampires, I think they do take inspiration from Varney. They take more inspiration from Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
This is a really good example of how media kind of stacks.
Whoa, yeah.
So you have no lack of examples from today
God, no.
of sympathetic vampires.
Yeah.
But there's something I kind of want to talk about. Just want to touch on briefly.
Mm-hmm.
You rarely see the Varney vampire anymore.
Yeah.
You don't see the hypnotic powers.
No.
The super strength.
You still see the super strength.
You still see the super strength, but you don't get the I mean, Varney didn't have this, but you don't get the allergies to sunlight or I can't look at a crucifix.
Here's the thing, because we've humanized vampires so much, so that like, hey, if you fuck it, it's not too far off from fucking a person.
Yeah.
We've moved away from metaphorically having sex with the vampires to
literally having sex with vampires.
Yeah.
I can't wait till this happens with robots.
Right? Oh, it's already happened, my friend.
It has.
Have you read any Philip K. Dick novels?
No. Have you seen Japan lately?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Ready to fuck a robot.
Oh,
I mean, don't worry about it.
No, for real, if I had several thousands of dollars to blow on a sex machine, I would go with the Japanese one.
Anyway.
Japanese, good at machines, good at sex machines. But when we're talking about like Edward or Angel or Spike, these are all vampires who have like they're different, right? So
yeah.
Edward sparkles in the goddamn sunlight.
Yeah.
And he's got super strength and speed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's not susceptible. Like garlic's not a thing.
No.
They've humanized him, and they've given him the best parts of both worlds.
And same with the crucifix thing. I think that was like the first thing that Bella sees when he walks into when she walks into the house with Edward.
Yeah.
There's like a giant fucking crucifix on the wall, and she's like, "Oh, that's weird."
Well, and that's the thing in Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah.
Louis is talking to the reporter, and the reporter is like, "So, crucifixes?" And Louis is like, "That's hilarious." I love to look at crucifix. And I think there's this idea of like, isn't myth hilarious how like things get out of hand and some stuff turns out untrue?
Uh-huh.
But I think it also has to do with what Ben was saying. If we're going to fuck a vampire, we better fucking humanize it.
Yeah, that's true.
And what's more humanizing than getting him in cool with God and his son?
No, the more important thing is that now vampires can eat garlic bread.
Yeah.
And not get indigestion.
There you go.
Or whatever it is happens to them when they eat garlic.
Yeah, I was about to say, what did happen to a vampire? Did it like burn?
It like warned them. It ward the.
Yeah, I think it just. It's kind
Oh.
of like when you hang up bags of apple cider vinegar and it gets rid of flies.
Got it.
It's like that.
Got it.
Another thing with vampires, they have to be invited into your house.
Yes.
So what's the deal with that? Because like Varney would sneak into windows and stuff, right?
Yes.
Because they would. So they didn't originally have to be invited.
No.
Where do you think that came from?
No idea.
Cool.
Did not come across it anywhere. I think it goes back to like, if I had to take a guess, and this is just like me bullshitting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically, what I did in college and high school, which is making shit up.
Cool.
Speaking of making shit up,
Yes.
were you done with your thought?
Not
that
at
one?
all.
Okay.
Hadn't even started it.
Continue with your thought before I hop on another.
My
one.
thought on this is it probably comes back from like old-timey Victorian manners.
Probably.
Right? These aren't vampires, they're modern gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to be invited into the house.
I
and
guess
they
it would
get
be
tea
like
and
if a
stuff.
vampire is immortal.
Yeah.
Then they were like made a vampire, in the Victorian area. So they have to, they still have a little bit of that in them, even though they've still like adapted with the times to survive.
Right. Yeah. So that's would be my like long, unlikely guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can research that because we will run into vampires again.
Yeah.
Trust me, we will run into vampires.
Oh, I'm
again.
sure.
Very much so. But what I was thinking of when we talk about making shit up, look at racism from like very early 1900s, like how people would just make up shit about how white people would talk about other races,
Right.
like about like the Jews, the blacks, the Mexicans, like all.
Oh yeah,
the
they
weird
just be like,
wackadoo shit.
here's this thing that's not true at all.
Yeah.
Like saying that like Mexicans or black people would smoke weed and they would want to rape white women.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
shit like that. That's just like no.
Yeah.
Just weird wackadoo shit.
So you
Yeah.
think that kind of happened with vampires?
Yes and no.
Like where the myths just got crazy?
Yeah, probably.
It does seem, the whole being invited in thing seems very arbitrary.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Like you have super strength, but you have to be invited into a house.
Yeah.
Come on.
Why not just
Yeah.
punch through the door? Make your own entrance.
Right? Yeah, so vampires, they started out, sexy and scary. Well, they started out neither sexy nor scary, or not sex, nor neither sexy nor sympathetic.
Yeah.
Then they got sexy.
Yeah.
Then they got sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got super sympathetic.
Because
Yeah.
you can sympathize with someone if you can fuck them.
Exactly. We wanted to fuck a vampire. They symbolize like a forbidden fruit, which is immortal life and knowledge and blood. I don't know. But then they also you know, have been woobified a little bit.
What?
They've been
Vilified.
No, they have been made super sympathetic.
Okay.
Right? Like, we sympathize with the fact that they're immortal. We feel bad about it because they're lonely. And,
Right, yeah.
you know, they cry and stuff. I don't know.
There's a very important vampire that is sympathetic and sexy that we are forgetting.
Who's that?
Kate Beckinsale's character, Celine from Underworld.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sweet Jesus.
A
Forgot
rare,
about Underworld.
Sexy and sympathetic lady vampire.
Yes.
Because all these examples we mentioned have been men.
That's true.
Also, what the fuck?
I think because vampire fiction is mostly, like, marketed towards
women.
Well, we did talk about Carmilla, who is a lady, but other than her,
all right, so another one.
towards stray women, I should say.
Let's see, because I would be very surprised if you've heard of this video game series, Blood Rain.
Oh, I've heard of Blood Rain.
Blood Rain. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, super sexy, sympathetic, redheaded lady vampire.
There's also Bill Compton from True Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the book series that True Blood is based off of.
Mm-hmm.
He's a sexy, sympathetic vampire. Tons of examples. Tons of examples of sexy, sympathetic vampires. That's kind of like the norm these days. That's just
It
what
really
you do.
is.
Yeah.
Like,
If there's a vampire, they're sexy, they're sympathetic. That's it.
That's it. So that's it. That's all I got for Freak of the Week this time. I really enjoyed researching this. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't quite remember what happens in Children Play with Dead Things, which is the next episode. But hopefully that'll be a fun Freak of the Week too.
Yeah. So, Travis,
Yeah.
as we always do, what do you think is going to happen next week?
So it's called Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things?
Yeah.
Okay.
I swear to God,
So
if you just do,
if I do what?
stand by me,
I wasn't thinking of Stand By Me.
I will smack you with this 60-year-old mug.
Stand by me.
So
I wish that mug was 60 years old. I bet it'd be beautiful.
You kids won't see dead cryptid.
there is a group of kids that are going camping, and they're in this cabin, and they find this weird book in the bottom of, like, in the basement of the cabin.
Ah, I see.
And they open it up, and they read some translations.
This is just the Evil Dead.
And, they,
Just Evil Dead.
and then zombies come out and attack them. Yeah.
You know,
All right. Well, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
my first inclination when you said some kids go into a basement was Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah. See, I was gonna go Cabin in the Woods, but I like Evil Dead.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I wish.
But if it does, we'll talk about it next week.
We need more Bruce Campbell in Supernatural.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, we need Bruce Campbell at all in Supernatural. He guest starred on Charmed. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Really?
Yes. And
Really?
was wasted. Anyways, yeah. Check us out at our respective supernatural social media pages: Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr,
At Habcast.
and then also feel free to email us at heyassbuttpodcast@gmail.com if
Yeah.
you want to answer any of the questions that we ask ourselves.
Or ask us questions.
Yeah, if you
Yeah, or
have
ask
thoughts
us
about vampires, please let us know. Yeah, because even though we do backlog these episodes, we do like special episodes when we have audience questions, and we love those. So
Yeah.
please let us know. Thank you so much.
I'm the kind of person that can't stand seeing notifications unread. So if you send us an email, I will look at it.
Yeah, you'll get into it.
I will look at that email at least once. Yeah, and like us and leave us a review on iTunes. It's how we
Yeah,
get the show
please
out
subscribe.
more. Have fun and don't die.
Hey, Assbutt. Good job, guys.
I'm just gonna keep all of those and use them for the ends of different things.